Hey there, everybody. Come check out The Experience this Monday, December 12th at 6 p.m. Eastern. We're going to have all your favorites, Marvel, DC, Dynamite. Rex will be here, Robbie, John. I'm sure I'm going to pop in for a minute. And if you look to my left right here, you can see Gargoyles is now on sale. So check it out at your local comic book store or get them online at Dynamite. So, yeah, come check out the show. Remember, it's The Experience this Monday, December 12th at 6 p.m. Eastern. Can't wait to see you.
What is up, everybody? Station Pop Pop Boom! Welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. In particular, welcome to Rockin Robbie Live here on a Sunday night, the show where we gather, we talk about comics, movies, pop culture, and a whole lot more. With me, your host, Rockin Robbie Billups. How is everybody doing? I hope you had so far a great weekend. There's still, I guess, a few hours left of the weekend, but for some people, their weekend may start tomorrow. For other people, they may never have a weekend. Other people may get their weekend on Wednesday and then again on Friday or something like that. All kinds of wonky. However, I hope you had a good day today, and I hope that if you follow the NFL that your team won. Unfortunately, half of the teams didn't win. My Cowboys won, but that was ugly as hell. We can chat about that. We got a great jam-packed show for you tonight. Let me tell you, we got DC Sneak Peek. We're continuing our journey through the filmography, chronologically, of John Carpenter with Starman. We're doing Image in the 90s. We're doing the debut of the brand new segment, Datman Batman, where we're going through the Batman animated series, episode by episode. You demanded it a few weeks ago, and we've delivered. Then we're going to be revealing the PCP movie night lineup for January and February of 2023. All that and more, but this show is driven, fueled, if you will, by your questions, your thoughts, your comments, your concerns. So once you get in the room, throw out a pop, pop, boom, or a station. Let us know you're here. What do you want to chat about? We got a good time planned tonight. You can support us at patreon.com/PCP like these fine PCP patrons right there, or with the super chat. You can follow Pop Culture Philosophers on Facebook and on Instagram. If you're on Facebook, make it official. Join the PCP Army. That's the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. You can find podcasts and more, including links to merch, in the description below, as well as at popculturephilosophers.com. You can follow me on Twitter at The Rockin Robbie. You can get $15 in Whatnot credit when you go to whatnot.com/invite/The Rockin Robbie. That link is in the description below. That's good for first-time users. And you can save 10% at dynamicforces.com when you use the code Robbie. We got a great show planned tonight, but we also have a great week planned, including tomorrow night we wrap up PCP Movie Night for its 2022 season with one of my favorite Christmas movies. We're talking about Batman Returns. That's tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Central Time. That's the final PCP Movie Night of 2022. But before that and in between my show over at the EXP, be sure to check out Scarpad Sci-Fi Sojourns, where he'll be joined by Dylan from Dylan's Horror Show and Steph from Dylan's Horror Show and many other places, and they'll be talking about A Clockwork Orange, not Clockwork Orgy. I was down to do it, and then I found out it's not in fact Clockwork Orgy, it's Clockwork Orange, and I said, never mind. Just kidding. And then Saturday night, join us for a Christmas fest over at Dylan's Horror Show, where we talk about Silent Night, Deadly Night 3, 4, and 5. He's already covered 1 and 2, right? In the weeks before we officially switched it to Dylan's Horror Show, we did talk about 1 and 2, so definitely check that out on the replay, and then join us Saturday night for Silent Night, Deadly Night 3, 4, and 5. You can find these movies on Shudder or on Tubi, and Vestron is releasing them in a very reasonably priced set, which comes out this upcoming Tuesday. Mine is on the way. How is everybody doing? Also, do want to point out that you can join me Thursday night over at Lost in Comics. I'll be a part, once again, of their year-end Best of 2022 nomination live stream special, and I'm very excited. We'll be talking about our favorite comic books and comic book stuff, favorite writers, favorite artists, favorite single issues, favorite covers, all that stuff. We'll be talking about that Thursday night. That's on Lost in Comics. If one of the awesome mods could do that for me. And why is Eric not a mod yet? Eric, you're a mod. Merry Christmas. How is everybody doing? Why is Twitch not a mod yet? Twitch Station, you're a mod. Why is Mark not a mod? Probably because he's always asleep when we're doing this, or he should be asleep. So, Mark Station, you're a mod. I'm in my Oprah Winfrey mode right now, here on the award-winning Pop Culture Philosophers. So let's take a look at the chat. But before we do that, I remembered this time. It's time for First Five. The first five. All right, we're going through this 1995 Fleer Ultra Spider-Man set. And when we last left off, it was card 70, and it's Spencer Smythe. But this is part of a triple image, so we're saving that for now. And here's the first five. We got the Spider Slayer. Joanne Daly on the artwork there. Same artist on all three of these, I believe. And then there is Alistair Smythe. Alistair! Anyway, Alistair Smythe. That's the one that we remember from the Spider-Man animated series. And these three cards go together to form an image. Bum, ba, bum, ba, dum. Bum, bum, bum. Patience. There we go. So you put the three together and it makes that. This is part of the legacy thing. So it's like, it's legacy, right? Because it's like father and son. That's kind of the vibe. Last week I was like, I think these characters were all dead at the time. No, they weren't. It's just the father-son kind of vibe. Then we have Jack-O-Lantern. Love that card. Cliff Nielsen, who's been one of the heroes of this set. Then there's Hobgoblin. That's dope. And then we got Demogoblin. And then, of course, those go together as well. So let's get that set up. That's pretty freaking sweet right there, actually. Jack-O-Lantern, Hobgoblin, and Demogoblin. And that has been, and this is gonna, nothing's wrong. This is gonna go for a while because the cat wants out. That has been your All right, nothing better than dead air and a blank screen while Robbie lets his cat out and turns his AC on. Because I thought I could turn my AC off today because it is December 11th, right? But I'm in Alabama and I've had my AC on for like a week and a half now. And so I felt like today I could turn the AC off. And it was getting stuffy, a little warm in here because I'm in Rockin Robbie live mode. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, here's to you, everybody. Them Cowboys played like ass the entire game, except for the first drive and the final drive, to the Texans. Anyway, let's take a look at the chat. We got Nerdtastic News up in the house. We got Rogue Collecting in the house. Nova69 Station, everybody. Empire Comics up in the building. James, what is up? Pop, pop, boom. And an excellent station tonight. Rockin' Robbie and chat. That one, Eric is in the house. Of course. He's been modded. Larry's in the house. What is up? Station. Time told. A hearty station to all. Perry is in the house. Perry! What is up, my man? Perry says, oh, snap. I see a wish list. Time to spend some money. Nah, I pinned my Amazon wish list at the top of the live chat because I've had messages of people saying, hey, I want to send you something for Christmas. I'm like, yeah, anybody can send me anything they want. Just let me know. All that kind of jazz. But if you're interested specifically in finding like Christmas gifts for your favorite YouTuber, I don't know why it would be me. However, if you so decide to do so, my wish list is up there filled with household essential items. It's not just a list of Blu-rays. It pretty much is just a list of Blu-rays. Anyway. CTA Frank is in the house. How about them Cowboys? How about them? I mean, that did not look good. And we almost lost that fucking game. I was so mad. I didn't get to watch the game, so I was watching it on the Chat Sports, right? Cowboys TV on Chat Sports with Tom Downey, which I really like watching that show when I can't watch the game on TV, which is a rarity because we are America's team, you know? But, man, that was just a struggle today. By the way, I saw Fargate, good old friend Fargate in the super chats on screen during the Cowboy stream there. Twitch says, my Dixie wrecked. I'm like Mo from The Simpsons. Hey, my Dixie wrecked. Is my Dixie wrecked in here? Ah, you son of a... Our Ariaga is in the house. Road Collecting says, can't believe the Lions beat the Vikings today and beat them. At least from what I remember. How about, and I don't know how this game ended, because I flipped to it real quick before I was watching, what did I watch? Was it that early? Okay, so I watched Silent Night, Deadly Night today, this afternoon, the first one. Because I'd like to watch that one every holiday season. Gets me in the spirit, right? And it's got Linnea in it, you know? But, so I, like, after that, I think I flipped to the game to see what was up. And, like, the fucking 49ers, like, were 35-0 up on the Bucks. Ooh. Feel bad for Spilio. But happy for that kid at 49ers. Everybody thought it was done when Garoppolo went down. But it seems like, I mean, I'm not saying the Bucks are, like, top-notch this year. But they got a pretty good defense, right? Not today. But I actually didn't watch any games today. Mark in the house. Barry says, Datman Batman sounds like an epic time. It is. I want to give a shout out to Perry for helping me out with the intro for this new segment. Just wait. That's going to be buried in the third act. But it's going to be fun. It's one of my favorite damn things. Seriously. I just love it. I asked Perry to do a favor for me. And he went well above and beyond. And I'm happy. Manifold is in the house. William is in the house. There were teams having their bye, so less than half lost. I meant half of the teams playing today lost. Unless there were some draws. Some ties. I don't know. Maybe that's a thing now, right? So maybe that's part of it. Andre's in the house. Like number 12, pop, pop, boom. I am enjoying Strange Academy Finals. I'm enjoying it too. I like Strange Academy. I feel like this is a series that could just keep going for a while. It's interesting to me that this is called Finals, giving me the idea, like, is it like final? What do you mean? hopefully it's just finals for the first semester and we'll get a Strange Academy second semester, because that was the rumor mill that we were hearing. The rumors we were hearing was that the next series was going to be called Strange Academy second semester. Then it came out Strange Academy finals. I almost feel like that's just, I don't know. It's kind of like, I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm loving it, though. I think Strange Academy is one of Marvel's best titles. Not the best. What's your favorite Marvel comic of 2022? For me, single issue, Doctor Strange, Fall Sunrise by Trad Moore. I just fucking love that. That was right up my alley. So far up my alley, it was like the Bat missile falling apart, gliding in. Then the crazy cops just keep driving. I just rewatched Batman Returns because we're covering it tomorrow night. But like the cops just keep fucking driving and they just like pile up like 4 fucking cars on top of each other. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. What's your favorite Marvel comic of this year? For me, that's my favorite single issue. My favorite miniseries would definitely be Hulk Grand Design, and my favorite ongoing series from Marvel right now is Punisher. Surprising me, actually. Jay Nunya's in the house. What is up? The chat dropped down on me. I hate it when that happens. Gotta find where I was. There we go. Sunday Night with the Dark Knight begins tonight. That's actually a good name. In fact, if you would have suggested that when we were taking suggestions, that might have won. But I'm glad that we got Datman Batman. Any info on the Variants 5? I don't know what we're getting at there, Andre. Can you clarify? Nothing. What is up? Perry throwing out the links to Lost in Comics, where I will be Thursday night. Ariaga's out of circulation with my second round of COVID. Man, hope you get better. Drink lots of water, take your vitamins, get some rest. Eric says, happy Modmas, everyone. Mods are pussies, man. That shit is dead. Anyone know the movie? I do not recognize that quote. Mark says, thanks, mate. Sometimes I'm awake, normally for your first hour. I love it when Mark joins us for like a PCP movie night or something, because like you got to know, like at some of those times it's like 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. So, dude's just sitting there in a quiet-ass house trying not to make any noise. Fucking trying to stay awake for this show. Meanwhile, we're all like fucking prime time, like, blah, 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 blah. And he's just like, I love it. I love it, man. Thank you so much for all the times that you've joined us. I will be joining Mark and Jasmine over at Geeks Unleashed for the 3rd annual Christmas Scott Pilgrim Book Club. We've done this once a year at the end of every year, where we talk about a single volume of Scott Pilgrim. We did volume 1. We did volume 2 last year. This year we're doing volume 3. And I really like this kind of slow approach. And here's the thing. When we did the first one, Mark, I read the first book. And that was all I read. When we did last year, I reread book 1 and then I read book 2. And I didn't read any more. So this week, my plan is to read book 1, read 2 and 3, and then we're filming the episode next week, I think. I don't know when it releases, but it's going to be awesome. And if you've missed those, check out Geeks Unleashed on all your podcast platforms and on YouTube. And you can check out our other episodes and other episodes of theirs I've been on and other episodes I haven't been on, because they produce content and it's high quality. So everybody check out Geeks Unleashed. Can we get a link? Can we also get a link to Go Figure Reviews, which is our homies Jelani and Brooks, part of the PCP crew? Excitable we are and excitable they are for their new action figure-centric YouTube channel, Go Figure Reviews. So I definitely encourage you to go sub them up if you like action figure reviews and live streams and stuff. And I will be showing up eventually. Fable is in the house. What is up, my man? Station. Trenton, what is up, buddy? Mark McGrath is in the house. Station. I just want to fly. Tell you what you want. Put your arms around me, baby. Put your arms around me, baby. Is there a Mark McGrath pop figure? There should be. Come to Nebraska. We've been down to the 10s this past week. Nah, that's fine. I'm cool here. The biggest problem with the weather here for the last week, it's been rainy. It's just been raining. It's been 60 to 75 degrees, but it's raining non-fucking stop. I haven't seen the sun in days. I hate it. Feels like goddamn fucking Seattle or something out there. So I hear. I've never been to Seattle. Verno is in the house. What is up? The Cerebros, blood splatter chatter. How are you doing, buddy? Great show last night on Dylan's Horror Show. We talked about You're Next, which is a fantastic movie. Me and Dylan were riding high on it. The others were riding mid on it. And that's okay. That's okay. That's just the way it goes. Look at everybody being all just courteous to each other and shit. Mark says, I'm jealous. Air conditioner got the bloody heating on. Yeah, but it's just like 1 week I got to have the heat on. The next week I got to have the AC on. I guess it's. I obviously don't want it to be 10 degrees outside. But we rarely see snow. But when we do see snow, it will shut the whole goddamn town down. It can snow 2 inches. Everything closes. All the bread's gone. Neighborhood Merc is in the house. What is up? I would have been stressed if I were a Cowboys fan today. I was stressed as fuck. And I wasn't even watching the game. I was watching the reaction and a play-by-play. Which if you Chat Sports has got one of these for I think almost every football team. And it's a good fun time, right? It's where I got the idea for the Super Chat menu. By the way, do want to point this out. Last Monday, woke up, no hangover, felt fine. So I appreciate all the Super Chats last week for our Super Chat menu spectacular during the Cowboys game. I did get good, ripe, and drunk, but because of the encouragement to drink water from other Super Chats, which I really appreciate as well, I woke up feeling fine, hunky-dory, no repercussions, so hell yeah. You almost lost to the worst team this year. Yeah, I know. I don't know why I'm a Cowboys fan anymore. It's just so stressful sometimes. I was like, we cannot go down like this. They played like shit, y'all. They played like shit on both sides of the fucking ball. Except for those first and last drives. AC, it's snowing up here in the Great White North. DMG. I'm almost envious, but not really. Kenneth is in the house. Hi to everyone here tonight. Bobby De La Ghetto's in the house. I need to move into Robbie's house next December. There's not much room, but we can fit you somewhere, Mark. I don't know how much you'd like it down in Alabama. All the time you'd be hearing, "Where are you from? You talk funny." Verno says, just watched Silent Night 3. Feel like I needed to watch the first 2. Well, I've never seen 3, 4, or 5. But apparently 3 does involve a character that's in 1 and 2. But this is what we were trying to say last night, but everybody kept talking over each other. Do not just watch Silent Night, Deadly Night and then watch Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, because half of Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 is the first movie. They just use the clips, and there's a character telling the story. So, for a long section of that movie, it's just the shit you've just seen. So, if you are crunched for time, you can just watch Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, because it does contain the hits of part 1 and then what little there is of part 2. But the first one's the shit. I'm sorry. I love that movie. I rewatched it this morning. I fucking loved it. I'm not going to rewatch 2 because it's not something you can do close together. Maybe closer towards Christmas. But I want to watch that one. I probably should have watched that one, but I wanted to watch Silent Night, Deadly Night because I like watching that every year. But what's that one on Shudder everybody's talking about? Is it Christmas, Bloody Christmas, something like that? Really want to check that out. I saw John Lee's post about that today, too. The 49ers lost Debo to knee injury. That sucks. Eric says, the Bears were on a bye week, so it's basically a win, right? Yeah, why not? Drop down. What's up, Mike06? How are you doing, buddy? Yeah, Fable's too busy. He's big time now, trade paper dad. Mark, speaking on the Geeks Unleashed, Scott Pilgrim Volume 3 says, I'm planning to reread them all this week. Episode recording Sunday will come out the following Wednesday. As long as the rain doesn't get you sounding like Eddie Vedder. Oh, free man. Two Gun Pedro's in the house. Thank you for throwing out the links. Evolving Earth Angels here. Whenever I think of a cloudy day, I instantly think of Twilight. They like the clouds, right? So that they don't sparkle because it hurts them. A W is a W, no style points awarded. Yeah, you can say that, and I agree. Like, I'm just glad we got the damn win. But man, it's not looking good because we got to play the Eagles, on Christmas Eve. That's going to be a big game. We got Jacksonville in between. And Eagles handed the Giants their ass today, right? Earth Angel says, I was going to stop reading comics, but just when I think I'm out, they pull me back in. Fredo! OUG is up in the house. Station. Garbage day. Absolutely. Nothing says I'm a Black Xmas kind of fella. Black Christmas is one of my favorite Christmas movies. I think it's vastly superior to Silent Night, Deadly Night. But Silent Night, Deadly Night's got a sleaze factor I really enjoy in some of my 80s slashers. Tony Pollard had a great game. That's all Mike cares about is his fantasy points. I wouldn't say Tony Pollard had a good game. But I get what you're saying. Hey, William says, was lucky to meet Frank Miller and Emma Kubert today. Hell yeah. Meeting Frank Miller is one of my dreams. Big Llama Show's in the house, everybody. Station. Did you pick up the Silent Night, Deadly Night comic? I did. It's it's kind of like a redo on the sequel to the first one. Without the, I hope they at least do an homage to Garbage Day. But yeah, I don't think it's the best thing, but I enjoyed it. And I covered it in my weekly comic review. And I had to wait to get the cover I wanted because it got shorted, but I did get the movie cover, basically, which is the one I really wanted. Cowboys and Titans. Yeah, that's happening too. If my Jags beat the Cowboys, I'll be loud and proud if there's a live chat. We're not doing a live one for that because that's going to be like a noon game, right? I think we got to I don't think our next... Rex actually asked me after we did our show. Yeah, that's a noon game, so there's no way I'm streaming at noon. Not doing like drunken super chats. Nah, not at noon. That'd be a little redonkulous, right? But Rex had asked me. He's like, "Hey man, are you doing one of those live things for the Eagles Cowboys game? Because if so, I want to join you." I was like, "Hell no, I'm not doing that. That's Christmas Eve, bro." Hell no, man. Plus, it's going to be a really stressful fucking game for me, man. I just have a feeling. After watching them play the Texans today, game that should have been easy. That muffed punt. Fucking interceptions. We got lucky at the end there. Defense actually stepped up for a second. Lars is in the house. Bill Murray and Scrooged. Love Scrooged. We covered that last year for PCP Movie Night. You should check that out on the Rewind sometime. Hamburger Basket is in the house. I would like to buy a hamburger. What is up, my man? Good evening, Robbie, and all the community here. OUG says, Silent Night, Deadly Night. My boyfriend watched 3, 4, and 5 for one of them. I was there, and I guessed the plot and went to sleep. Woke up, found out I was right. Well, these movies aren't meant to have really captivating, unsolvable out of like, you know what I'm saying? Like these are just, I haven't seen 3, 4, and 5, but I imagine it's the rule of the slasher franchise is diminished returns usually. And we'll see. I think 4 is one that people really like, and I've heard that 4 is like not about Christmas whatsoever. But it's got Clint Howard trying to resurrect Isis, the Egyptian goddess. Jarose made this. What is up, station? Mark says, Robbie, do you have a non-Xmas movie that you watch over Xmas every year? So me and my wife will watch the Beverly Hills Cop trilogy over the holidays and all of the Lord of the Rings. I don't think I've had one recently that I keep up, but Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter are always kind of something that in my history usually would come up around Christmas time. Also, Spider-Man for some reason, like the Sam Raimi Spider-Man was always one I used to watch around Christmas time. Thoughts on Greg Capullo and Donny Cates collabing for Marvel? Manifold, are they? I haven't heard that. Is that actually happening? I'd be cool with it. I haven't heard anything. Oh, yeah, there it is. One day ago. Greg Capullo and Donny Cates tease potential Marvel mystery project. I think something has forced Donny Cates to take a quick break, and they are now breaking this news to kind of get everybody through his abrupt ending on Hulk and Thor, I guess. Capullo and Cates. I get the idea. It might be event. I don't think Capullo is going to come back to do any form of ongoing comic again at this point in his career. But I bet a miniseries, so it might be their next event. Might be. I'm cool with that. That sounds cool to me. Twitch says, I can still be loud and proud at 7 p.m. Yes, you can. We'll see next week, won't we? Hey, Comics by the Bay in the house. What is up? Empire says, my favorite Christmas movie is Gremlins. 100% Empire, I agree with you. That is my number one Christmas movie is Gremlins. It's one of my favorite movies, period. I have always been obsessed with Gremlins. I love the fuck out of Gremlins. OUG says, I guess my guy watched Christmas Bloody Christmas, and now I have to watch it because it sounds good. I've heard it was really good. Twitch says, I've been watching Christmas movies at work. So far, I've watched Lethal Weapon, Muppet Christmas Carol, Die Hard, The Night Before Christmas, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, The Guardians Holiday Special, and Family Stone Station. Some good picks there. Twitch says, oh yeah, and Gremlins. Want to try to get some Capullo OG artwork for 2023. That would be really cool. Gremlin slaps, no caps. Yeah, 2 years ago on PCP Movie Night around Christmas time, we did Black Christmas and we did Gremlins. Fun shows. Trade Paper Dad says, number one Xmas movie is Die Hard. Did I miss when people were responding with their favorite Marvel books of the year? Here we go. Yeah, somehow I missed all this. The quote is from SLC Punk. Oh, okay, thank you. Is Earth Divers any good? My LCS don't get it. You can reach out to my shop. We got plenty of copies. I didn't really like number one, so I didn't read 2 or 3, so I can't really speak for how the whole series is, but I number one didn't grab me. Trenton says, Moon Knight's my favorite ongoing. Miracle Man has been really good too. I got to get caught up on Miracle Man. I've never read any of the game and stuff. KGB, good day, Robbie. From new viewer from the rainforest in Australia, mate. Hell yeah, station. Australia, that's awesome. What time is it in Australia? Might be like in the morning, afternoon, something like that. I don't know. I have no clue. Rogue says, Moon Knight, Daredevil, Punisher, Immortal X-Men, and X-Men Red have been some of my favorites. Eric says, X-Men Red is my favorite ongoing, and the variants will be my pick for best mini. Trade Paper Dad says, Punisher. Manifold says, Daredevil or Punisher for sure. Rogue says, Fall Sunrise is different level. Rogue is also saying, surprised how much I've been enjoying Exterminators. Me too. Twitch says, what is up with Aftershock? They just seem to have punted on November and December. I agree. Rogue Collecting says, Punisher's been solid. Nothing says Carnage. And Punisher. Where are we at here? Trying to hit all the chat. Twitch says, Strange Academy has probably been my favorite Marvel book, but Immortal X-Men, X-Men Red, and Moon Knight are solid contenders. That was when Two Gun showed up. There we go. All right. Hey, there's Lost in Comics Station. As I said earlier, and there's a link somewhere up there in the chat, I'll be on Lost in Comics Thursday for their Best of 2022 nomination special. 12:36 p.m. in Australia. Thank you, Time Zone Mike. OUG says, I really enjoyed the Blade Vampire Nation book. Me too. It just that should have been a mini-series. There's a lot to explore and develop there, but they just gave Mark Russell one issue, which kind of lame, but I did like it. But at the same time, I don't want a Blade series that is just Blade being Dracula's sheriff. Like, as cool as that could be, I want a Blade book, Blade fucking hunting vampires down, coming up against big threats. In fact, Marvel, I got a 5-year plan. 5 years. No one will ever have a 5-year run on Blade. Blade's never had a 5-year run. I would want a Blade sword. That would be cool to have. I have a Blade sword. Bueller gave it to me when I saw him in May, and he came and visited me. He had a Blade sword, and he gave it to me. It's right there. I'll try to remember to grab it to show it off again. I will definitely be showing it off at our Festivus stream, because don't forget, even though, and go ahead and let you know, next week is the final Rockin Robbie Live of 2022. But don't worry, we still got the Festivus stream and the end of the year stream, plus my own top 20 of 2022. That video will be dropping, but we'll be live streaming for Festivus, as we usually do. Is this the 4th annual Festivus stream? Might be the 5th, 4th, probably 4th. Probably 4th, if I had to guess. We'll be airing our grievances, showing our feats of strength, having a good old time at the Festivus poll on December 23rd. So be sure to join us for that. And I'm about to start reaching out to some of the panelists to see who wants to come and join us for the end of the year Best Comics of 2022 live stream. Lars says, when it comes to Miracle Man, it's probably the best superhero comic ever. Yeah, it seems like Perry's on his girl's phone. That's Evolving Earth Angel. Yeah, Bobby, my phone died and I can't miss the stream. OEG says, yes, I am leading a charge for the protest for that Blade miniseries. I'll send you the invite if we can get our shit together. Don't forget a festive sign. Evil Face Bad is in the house. Fucking late to the party. Station dudes. Drunk on the whiskey right now. My boy, roll that smoke, though. Station. Chill out, man, in the house. What is up? Eric says, considering all the whiskey rants we've gotten already, the grievances should be good on this Festivus. They're always good, aren't they? I have some good grievances. Taco Bell's back on that fucking list, by the way. It's exclusive on the app shit is bullshit. What thing in comics are you most looking forward to next year? For me, it is the end of the Mephisto Avengers story coming to an end. It has overstayed its welcome and become way too bloated. Yeah, that's a good thing to look forward to then. What am I looking forward to for next year? Oh man, I'm on the spot. I can't even think about what's coming out this week yet. Like, what am I excited for? I'm excited I have no idea. You've stumped me, Twitch. I have to think about this. What am I excited for in comics next year? I guess I'm excited enough for this Dawn of DC thing, this initiative. Whenever DC does one of these things, they kind of get me excited a little bit. Not as excited as I used to get when they were less frequent, but I'm excited to see what they do. I'm excited to see Rom V and Chip continue to do Batman and develop that. So there's that. At Marvel, I'm continuing to see where Punisher goes, where Daredevil goes. I'm excited for Red Room, Book 3. Very excited for that. I'm excited for Tom Scioli's new project, which seems to be a Stan Lee biography graphic novel, like he did with Jack Kirby. So I'm excited for that. I'm sure there are other things I'm forgetting about right now. As part of your 5-year plan, you must introduce Ghost Thrasher. Yes, that is a part of it. And for those that don't know, Ghost Thrasher is my idea of Dwayne, the Night Thrasher, receiving the spirit of vengeance. And he's on a flaming skateboard. It's badass. Yeah, gotta love the end of the year festivities. Favorite time for so many reasons. Absolutely lost in comics. Hamburger Basket says, I know this topic has been covered, but are you reading more physical copies of books, Robbie, or digital? What about the community? I'm just wondering. Everybody, Hamburger wants to know, are you reading more digital or physical? For me, it's physical. I'm more physical. I read digitals that I get early, but I will still read it physically when I get it because I love that tactile experience. Fable's looking forward to MegaCon. Me too. We were looking at the list yesterday, me and Robbie from Earth 2. And I was like, yeah, let's look. We got Greg Capullo on that list already and Mark Silvestri on that list. And we were literally just talking Wednesday about how much we wanted to meet Mark Silvestri. So that's fucking awesome. We are at MegaCon. PCP is going to be at MegaCon. What is like end of March, beginning of April, something like that? Eric says, Aaron being off Avengers will be a good thing. I want to be excited by Marvel's premiere team again. Me too. Michael says Dan Mora Shazam at least. That's something. Wait, Mark Waid, Dan Mora on Shazam. That's something to look forward to. William's looking forward to Spawn Batman. You don't have too long to wait. Comes out Tuesday. We're about to be talking about it. OUG says, I have specific Taco Bell grievances where my local Taco Bell keeps putting lettuce on stuff when I tell them no lettuce. Drives me nuts. I can dig that. Twitch says, I read my Marvel books digitally as well as anything I get from Humble Bumble. Comixology has been dead to me since they messed it all up. Eric says, I read 99% physical but binged on some digital today. Perry says, if PCP Army comes to MegaCon, I'm going to shoot a short film. We're coming. Get ready. Let's party, brother. You guys show me where that good shit is, you know what I'm saying? Lars says, I'm looking forward to the end of 10,000 Black Feathers and the continuation. Yeah, me too. William says, physical, especially manga. Mark says, no plans to ever read digital. Mark says, who's going to MegaCon? I'm going to MegaCon. I think Bueller will probably be there. I think he said he was going to be there. Perry will be there. I think Perry lives there. Lots of people are going to be there. Lots of PCP Army faithful are going to be there. Mark Silvestri is going to be there. Mark Silvestri. That's enough for me. That's a long line I'll wait in. Looking forward to a Green Arrow book. Yeah, Josh Williamson's doing the Green Arrow book. You'll bring that loud. Thank you, my man. Station. Mark says, I really like Blade. I do not like Mark Russell on Big Two Superheroes. He is message first, story second, which I find tedious. I can dig on that, but I also think that sometimes he blends that message in a satirical manner in certain things. Doesn't necessarily always work for Big Two projects. It works for like things like One Star Squadron for me. It works for things like Flintstones even. But I get what you're saying, but when he's outside of that, it works even better. Like Not All Robots, for instance, I think is fantastic. I love Second Son, right? Is it Second Son? That is Superman one? What the fuck happened to that? Did that wrap up book 2? Second Coming is what it's called. I really like that one. But I'm really liking Superman Space Age a lot. I liked first issue way more than the second, though. I'll tell you that. Michael, what is up? Been digging DC Infinite Ultra as a way to sample books and expand reading beyond my budget. New Batman Incorporated is rad as hell. Yes, in fact, we're about to talk about that here on the DC Sneak Peek. That's right, DC's got books. I read them. They come out on Tuesday. First up, Danger Street. And it was a little bit of a light week for me on DC. I only read 5 books, but varying degrees of enjoyment. Danger Street, number 1. Tom King, Jorge Fornes, Dave Stewart. I no longer get excited for Tom King 12-issue series, or however long. I think this is 12 issues. But I've really been digging Human Target. And for the most part, I dug Strange Adventures. I just got to get my head out of my own ass about how I felt like that story should have ended with the character of Adam Strange. That being said, there was a time where if you told me Tom King was going to be on using like DC or B-list heroes in a 12-issue series, I'd be down for it. Omega Men was fantastic. Mr. Miracle was spectacular. And then he went on Batman, and it just kind of, yeah. And then, like, there were certain times where Tom King's writing really gets obnoxious to me at certain points, and other times I think it works. This is one of those kind of mid-level ones, right? It's interesting enough. This is taking characters like Metamorpho, Warlord, the blue-skinned Starman, Atlas, the Dingbats of Danger Street, these characters that, the Creeper, right? Or the Creep. Is it the Creep or the Creeper? Anyways, kind of taking them and telling this interesting story. There's a lot of moving pieces in here, and it's a very dense comic. The art by Jorge Fornes and Dave Stewart is awesome, but there is something washed out in the printing on some of the DC books. I noticed this last week. It's continued into this week. I don't think it's bad coloring, but there's something in the printing that feels a little bit washed out. I feel like they've changed paper again. I don't know if they've quite gotten, I don't know. There's something washed out about the colors on this week's DC books, and I noticed that last week too. Danger Street was okay. It kind of has a bunch of different things going on, and it does tie them up together at the end, but it's not super pulling me in yet, but it was decent enough for me to come back for issue number 2. Then we got Wildcats issue number 2. I'm a big, huge Wildcats fan. I got to read this actually a month ago, before FOC. They let it be available to retailers to read. So I read it. So I reread it again today, and I'm liking this approach to Wildcats. It's different than the Jim Lee, Brandon Choi stuff. It's different than the Alan Moore stuff. It's different than the Joe Casey stuff, but it's pulling bits from all of those runs and doing something different, distinctive, and firmly placed in the DC universe. I think this book would shine not being connected to the DC universe. I don't think it needs to do that. It is cool, though, to see Wildcats go up against the Talons and the Court of the Owls and all that kind of stuff. However, I would just kind of like that classic Damonites, cherubim kind of thing, right? So it's still kind of playing it loose about what's the actual thing with the Wildcats going on here, but it has a very intriguing ending, and I'm excited to see where this series is going to develop. Then we got Dark Crisis Big Bang. This is a one-shot comic written by Mark Waid with artwork by Dan Jurgens. This one was all right. It takes place after the final issue, basically, of Dark Crisis, where the infinite Earths are now revitalized. So there's no longer just 52 universes in the multiverse. There's an infinite number again. And this is the Flash he just knows that now that the infinite Earths are back, that the Anti-Monitor is out there. So Flash goes off trying to find the Anti-Monitor, and in doing so, comes across many of these new and familiar multiverses. So it catalogs several different universes. So that was the kind of cool thing. I love multiverse stuff, especially at DC, so I liked seeing this. There's this bit at the end where it's like Barry's journal, and it lists all the known universes so far. So there's a lot to play with there. But it was kind of trite for as epic as this story was trying to be. Plus, it just kind of feels weird for this to come out right before the finale and spoil the ending, which has already been spoiled. So Dark Crisis has kind of lost some of its momentum just because it was setting up something that, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So it was all right. I liked seeing how some of these Earths were documented. Batman Incorporated number 3. This is my favorite DC book of the week. This book blew me away. I absolutely loved this comic. John Timm's artwork is incredibly dynamic. It is like energetic as shit, leaping off of the page. Ghostmaker has a former sidekick who he believes is dead, but the former sidekick is back, killing all of Ghostmaker's mentors, right? And Batman Inc. is trying to stop him, and Ghostmaker is trying to save Clown Hunter, his current sidekick, who's been kidnapped by his former sidekick, but Ghostmaker doesn't know any of that. I'm intrigued in the story. It's mostly Ghostmaker-centric, doesn't really fully utilize all of the members of Batman Incorporated, but they are there. But it is more about Ghostmaker, and a very interesting character that the more different takes and different voices get put onto this character, Ed Brisson here, James Tynion, the creator, Chip Zdarsky, for instance, I'm really intrigued by this character, and this was just incredibly dynamic artwork and really cool, fun stuff. Let me show you some of this dynamic artwork. Look at that. That's superhero comics right there, and I loved it. All right, and then finally, the big one, Batman Spawn. And you know, there's a bunch of covers for this. Excuse me, but I had to get the one with Spawn over Batman. All right, so this is written by Todd McFarlane. It's got pencils by Greg Capullo and inks by Todd McFarlane. I was not 100% sure if Todd was going to be inking Greg on this, and he is. And I'm glad that he is, because the artwork is amazing. It takes you back to some of the best days of Spawn comics, where it was Greg Capullo being inked by McFarlane. Big, bombastic pages. Immediately getting Batman versus Spawn. Immediately getting the team up. It is a rather simple story. Look at that image right there. Look at that. $6.99. It's nice and thick. It gets right to the point. Batman versus Spawn. And then the inevitable team up. You got all kinds of references to different things. It references more modern Spawn stuff. It feels more like an offshoot of what's going on in Spawn right now than Batman. In fact, it actually feels like it's in the Batman timeline, it's taking place a few years ago, like shortly after New 52 or something like that, right? Because it's got Court of Owls, Alfred's there. They do this weird juxtaposition with Wanda and Martha, like being these important women that these heroes have lost. That's weird, because Wanda's like Al's wife and Martha's like Batman's mom. So that's a weird connection there. Didn't really work for me. The story is relatively simple. However, it's overly explained, and it becomes clunky and rather confusing. So the story is not that solid, but the artwork is amazing. So this is an art-first book. Story's okay. It's decent, but there's a lot of unnecessary bits to this, right? And it doesn't feel rushed, but it just feels oddly paced. If you just look through the artwork, you're like, that's awesome. That's great. But when you read it, and most of it is done in narration and captioning, and it just feels clunky. I was a little bit disappointed in this. I don't know why I was expecting something stronger as far as the story goes. It was a decent enough story, but the artwork was great. So I did like it. So to recap, Batman Spawn, great artwork. A little disappointed in the story. It's a simple story, but told in a clunky way. And overly so. And then Batman Incorporated, my favorite DC book this week, Dark Crisis Big Bang, Barry Allen going after the Anti-Monitor and chronicling some of the new post-Dark Crisis Infinite realities. Wildcats #2, a really solid step in the right direction. And Danger Street, decent, but not super solid. And that has been your DC Sneak Peek. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll be talking about John Carpenter's Starman, and we'll be doing Shadowhawk on Image in the 90s. We'll be right back here on Rockin Robbie Live.
there, everybody. Come check out The Experience this Monday, December 12th at 6 p.m. Eastern. We're going to have all your favorites, Marvel, DC, Dynamite. Rex will be here, Robbie, John. I'm sure I'm going to pop in for a minute. And if you look to my left right here, you can see Gargoyles is now on sale. So check it out at your local comic book store or get them online at Dynamite. So, yeah, come check out the show. Remember, it's The Experience this Monday, December 12th at 6 p.m. Eastern. Can't wait.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Rockin Robbie Live here on Pop Culture Philosophers. I am your host, Rockin Robbie Bills. We've had a great show tonight already, and Rockin Robbie Live is the show where I get to hang out with you and some of our best friends here in the PCP Army. So thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you so much. We've already talked about so much stuff. Some of our favorite Marvel comics of the year were listed, and we did the DC sneak peek, amongst many other things. But in this segment, we're going to be talking about John Carpenter's Starman, the latest step in my journey in the filmography of John Carpenter, chronologically speaking. And then we'll be doing Image in the 90s. And this year, we've covered, aside from Spawn, which we all know Spawn, we've covered all of the founding Image books, right? And except for Shadowhawk. We did Shadowhawk 0, the Rob Liefeld one, right? But we haven't done the proper Shadowhawk look into. And we're doing that tonight. Also, we got Datman Batman, the debut of a new segment going through Batman the Animated Series issue or episode by episode. And we're going to have the PCP Movie Night reveal for January and February of 2023. So all of that and more. But even though we have a plan, grandiose it may seem, this show is driven, fueled, if you will, by your questions, your thoughts, your comments, your concerns. Get them in right now. What do you want to chat about? And I will say this. You can follow me on Twitter at the Rockin Robbie. You can join the PCP Army. That's the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. If you're on Facebook, follow us there. You can also follow us on Instagram. If you want to help support the channel, you can do so at patreon.com/PCP and unlock exclusive content such as early downloadable audio files of the weekly comic book review and the weekly pop culture wrap-up, available first to you in an audio format before they drop on YouTube. And in my top 20 of 2022 will also be dropping there for the first time to our patrons. And our patrons are listed right there, so thank you all so much for your continued support. You can also support with the super chat right there. And you can also support by sending me a Christmas gift. I got my the pinned comment on the live chat is my Amazon wish list. Had people reach out, say, hey, want to get you something for Christmas. How can I do that? Here's my Amazon wish list. It's filled with household essentials and not just a bunch of horror Blu-rays, because there's some action and crime and drama and samurai movies in there too. Anyway, thank you all so much for the support, because all we need is a like, a share, a subscribe, and just being here and participating. Thank you all so much. Also, you can save 10% at dynamicforces.com with the code Robbie, and you can get $15 in Whatnot credit when you start a new account at whatnot.com/invite/the Rockin Robbie. Links to that, merch, and everything else in the description below. Tomorrow night on PCP Movie Night, Batman Returns, one of my favorite Christmas movies. It's the Christmas season. We're talking about Batman Returns. That's going to be at 8 p.m. Central Time, and that will be the final PCP Movie Night of 2022. But before that and after the EXP show, be sure to join Scarpad Sci-Fi Sojourns, our co-host over at Dylan's Horror Show, his own show all about sci-fi movies. They cover one a week. They're going to be talking about Clockwork Orange. And then Saturday on Dylan's Horror Show, a Christmas holiday thriller. We're talking about Silent Night, Deadly Night 3, 4, and 5. Available to watch right now on Shudder, Tubi, or in the Vestron Blu-ray collection, which drops on Tuesday. Got mine on the way. Also, be sure to join me Thursday night on Lost in Comics, where I will be a part of their panel discussing the best of 2022 and their best of 2022 nomination special. I had a lot of fun being on it last year. Looking forward to doing it again. We'll be listing and ranking our favorite comic book covers, single issues, writers, artists, series, horror comics specifically, things like that. It's going to be a grand old time with Chris and company over at Lost in Comics. Let's take a look back at the comments. I see Steph saying, "I wish Robbie would start treating his Patreon like an OnlyFans." What do you want? What do you want? Pictures of my feet? Nobody wants that. Gonna go back up into the chat so I can try to talk to everybody. Let's start there. Road Collecting says, Human Target is so good, but the art carries it for sure. I'm right there with you. I do like the story. Ice, there's something about Ice that's just getting me going. Reading this series. The artwork by Greg Smallwood is absolutely amazing. What's your favorite DC book of the year? Drop that in the comments. Drop that in the chat. I think I saw on the DC Direct the Swamp Thing Green Hell is coming out. Lemire returns, I suppose. Yes. They're doing a second printing in January, and it's coming back for issue 2 in February. Mark says, Tom King equals snooze fest. Overrated. Lost in Comics says, Human Target has been a favorite Tom King series. I don't know what it is, but I've been high on King lately, and I used not to care for his writing. Hamburger Basket says, DC paper seems thinner, at least on the Death of Superman anniversary issue. Eric says, never read any Tom King book, but I'm diving into Rorschach tonight, and I'm excited. I loved Rorschach, and I thought it was one of his best works until the fucking end. Those last 4 issues, I fucking hated. I fucking hated them so goddamn much. You can go back, and you can check out my fucking reviews, and you can, I think I was still doing the top 10 with Jim Mint at the time. Congratulations to Jim Mint, by the way, on 10K. On Whatnot. He had a nice stream today. They gave away a fucking fantastic... I almost said a Fantastic 5. They gave away a Fantastic 5. They gave away a PlayStation 5. That's fucking big time. That's awesome. I thought we were big time one time when we hit 1,000 subscribers. We gave away a Blu-ray player and Rogue One on Blu-ray. I thought we were big time then, man. We're nearing 15K, by the way. We're like 800 away. When we hit 15K, we're going to have a massive giveaway. It ain't going to be a PS5, but maybe we can dig out a PS2. I'm just kidding. We'll do something really cool. Mark's got to jump off. Got to get some sleep. Yeah, bro, it's late there. Station. Thanks for joining us, bro. Last Sheriff of Babylon. I still have not read that, Steph. I need to. Road Collecting says, I really liked Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. I liked it in theory. In fact, I really like it if I ignore all the captions. Like if I ignore the narration and the captions and just read the dialogue and get the flow of the awesome artwork by Evely, I like it. One of the things that Tom King does that really pisses me off as a reader, or it's just one of those things I just don't like about his work currently, and he's kind of ironing it out a little bit, but not in everything, is that there is excessive narration of things that are clearly visually experienced. And that pisses me off. even to the point where there was a moment in Batman Killing Time, which was pointed out to me on Twitter by a fan. And I had stopped reading it, but like, I don't remember what it was, but I think it involved a tiger. But like the caption says something, he says something, then he does the thing. So it literally 3 levels of I hit the tiger, punched the tiger, some shit like that. That's the thing that annoys me about some of his current writing. Lars says the Batman Catwoman series was my favorite Tom King series. OUG says, I have the Wildcats 2 sitting here. I'm so excited to read it. Love Grifter. I love Grifter. I love Zealot. I love Voodoo. I love Marlowe. I love Spartan. There's not a lot of development on these characters, and we're talking about Wildcats, which you can easily say, bro, you're talking about Wildcats. Come on, man. Let's get real. How much characterization do you really need? I don't know. Read the Joe Casey shit. There's a lot of rich character development. Matthew Rosenberg's picking up on that, but it's mostly Grifter focused right now, while still being kind of cloudy about direction, origin, concept. I would like, this is only like a 5 or 6 issue series. It's not an ongoing. So I don't know. There have been so many attempts to create something new with Wildcats or do it again, and they've all just fucking been false starts. The best one for me was Warren Ellis, John Davis Hunt on The Wildstorm. That was a great grounded reimagining of the Wildstorm universe, separate from DC. As much as I am digging this current Wildcat series, I want it to be separate from DC. I want it to exist in its own universe. Just let it. We're in the fucking infinite realities again. Why can't there be a Wildstorm universe? Anyway, here's an Image universe with Dino Cop and shit. In that Dark Crisis book, they even reference an amalgam type universe. Interesting. And a big thing, they kind of confirmed that Superman 78 and Batman 89 exist in the same universe, which I bet we're getting a world's finest of Superman 78 and 89. And what I liked about that is it's Earth 789. I like that. And they mentioned Supergirl in the little notes. Anyway, should be talking about that probably. Steph says, Rorschach is worth it too, except for those last 4 issues. Fuck those last 4 issues. Act 3 of that book sucks. Strange Adventures was really good from what I read of it. I fell off and I need to finish my read-through, but I did enjoy what I read of it. It's a really good book. There was something about the ending. I just pissed me off. I got too personally attached to... I didn't ever realize I was as much of a fan of Adam Strange as I am, because I remember even saying in my review the term, and I never use this term, character assassination. Just basically meaning changing who the character is to suit what you want to do as a creator, as a writer. I can buy that for a moment, for a little bit. But certain things, I don't know. I thought that book took a very cynical approach to Adam Strange that I was down for at first because I thought there was going to be a redemptive quality to it, and the book winds up not having that. And I really did not like the ending of it. But I love the artwork. Like Mitch Gerrard's and Doc Shaner, their artwork should not work together on the same page or even in the same book, but much less the same page. It does. And the artwork on that book is absolutely amazing. Yeah, Barry Allen ran off again. Poor Iris. I know, man. I know. Hamburger Basket says, good to hear about Batman Incorporated. Have number 1, but have not read it. I've been enjoying that series so far. OUG says, my boyfriend is trying to push Batman Inc. onto me. He heard Robbie just now, and he was like, see? You're welcome. Trade Paper Dads, 50-50, reading all Marvel digitally, all independent books physically. That's a good strategy, man. Support your indies physically. Buy the issues. Frankenfrog says, should I buy all my movies in Blu-ray form or just keep my Disney VHS tapes? It's up to you. What aesthetic do you like? I personally would keep the VHS tapes and get them on Blu-ray. I don't have any of those VHS clamshells for Disney. People, we were just talking about this the other day. Because Mike was at the shop and he goes, why do people think those are worth money? Because people do. They think they're worth like a lot of money. I have all of these VHS Disney. Because and I told him, I was like, he goes, why do people think? And I was like, it's because we were always sold the lie that these were going to be rare. Like, how stupid are we? Oh, this is the goddamn last time we'll ever see Snow White. If you don't buy it now, you'll never see Snow White again. That was bullshit then, it's bullshit now. The Diamond Edition Blu-ray I have, at one point was a very rare, expensive Blu-ray. They put that shit back out. This is what happens. And now there's Disney Plus. Who gives a shit? It's all in there, right? However, when they decide that they want to change something, it gets changed. Or if they decide it's gone, it's gone. I know people that genuinely love Song of the South. You will never, ever see a physical release of that. Ever. I don't even know if it made it to DVD. I think the VHS is the last physical release of that. I may be wrong. And I don't remember. I mean, I remember that movie when I was a kid, but it never really spoke to me. I don't know. I liked more of the fully animated things. Even when I was a kid, I didn't really respond well to Mary Poppins. It became later in life when I started appreciating musicals and appreciating Julie Adams in particular, that when I started getting into Mary Poppins. The original. Obviously. I've never seen the remake, so I can't speak on that. But, yeah, physical media is good. So regardless, like I have VHS collection. So, and I can't wait to watch some of them. But the VCR that I was gifted didn't work. But Robbie told me to bring it back to him. He's actually got somebody that fools around with VCRs and shit. So he thinks he may be able to fix it. So I hope so, because refurbished VCRs are ridiculously expensive. Ridiculously expensive. It's so stupid. I just want to watch my VHS movies. I just hope Spawn catches another batarang in the face. Lost in Comics says, sounds like what I'm expecting. Hey, Circumstances in the house station. How you doing, Circumstances? Lovingly caress that like button, please. Yeah, how many likes we at? 52 likes. We got 58 people in here right now. 52 likes. And I know it's always slower during the holiday seasons. A lot of people watching on the replay. A lot of people busy right now this time of the year, and that's fine. Also, football's going on. Who's playing tonight? Who's playing right now? I have no idea. However, let's get those likes up, y'all. Can we hit 60 likes? Let's do it. Hamburger Basket, Brubaker and Phillips. Pulp is a crime book. Really, really good. I love Pulp. I think Pulp's great. Lars says, I started collecting Spawn with issue 8 and continued to issue 70. Got both the DC Image crossovers, the most uninteresting comic book series ever. I would disagree with that. I think it's visually very interesting, especially in that time period. I think that's the best time period for Spawn. And it has a lot of interesting concepts at first. They don't necessarily build on them fluidly. And that series is a dragged out fucking series. But I enjoy it. But I used to feel the same way. David is in the house. Greetings from Mexico. Greetings. How you doing? Nothing says, every Shadowhawk comic I've seen is jacked up. Black cracked cardstock with silver scratched metallics. Everyone? There's mine. Not too bad. We'll be talking about that soon. Let's see what's going on. Dropping back down. Oh, it just dropped down. God damn it. Let's just start there. Oh, by the way, the Batman Spawn sets up a potential sequel. So maybe that's something that we can get down in the horizon. Down in the horizon? On the horizon. In? How do you get in a horizon? That's the way it is. Oh, that's nerdtastic news. Manny's just says, I just binged Tom King's Gotham City Year 1, issues 1 through 3, and wow, so damn good. Might make pick of the week, but Scott Snyder and Dan Panosian dropped a damn fine issue of Canary in Comixology, though. Unfortunately, Comixology right now is a piece of shit, and nobody likes to read comics on Comixology. There's some really great content there for people that is free if you have Amazon Prime, which most of us do, for the free shipping. Speaking of Amazon, I've had people reach out and they say, hey, Robbie, I want to send you a Christmas gift. What do you want? What you need? Well, I got an Amazon wish list. I pinned it at the top of the live comments here, the live chat. If you feel so inclined, you can buy me something from that. But don't feel like you have to. But they are household essentials, like lots of Italian horror. I love Gotham City Year One. Phil Hester's artwork, issue 3 is the best. It's a really good book. It is. It does get stagnated at times with excessive verbiage. Okay? It's not that I don't like wordy comics. Plenty of my favorite writers, Neil Gaiman, Grant Morrison, Alan Moore, lots of words in their comics, right? I don't mind. Like we say here at PCP, and Manny, we need this t-shirt. It's not the length. It's the pace. We came up with one last night too. That was we want for a t-shirt. Well, it goes film, the original HD. Because we were talking about digital, what looks better, like what's the best, and I was like, what's the best definition, right? 4K, Blu-ray, this, that, and I'm like, film's always been the best. That's why they're able to even go to old movies and restore them and transfer them and restore them and like make them look amazing, because film holds so much information in it. Black Panther 2 was filmed on film. Most movies are filmed digitally nowadays, and there is a coincision. That's not the right word. Coincision. Anyway, there is a parallel. There is a coinciding of the rise of darkness in films, like films getting darker and darker, and the rise of digital films. Like, they coincide. What's the word there? If only I had Joe Corallo over my shoulder. By the way, Joe Corallo's got a new book out, Dahlia in the Dark. We were shorted, and it didn't pop in my head on that Tuesday night when I was reading my books and doing the video. Or else I would have read the digital copy, which I've held off on because I want to read this copy fresh. And so Dahlia in the Dark is out from Mad Cave Studios and our friend Joe Corallo. And I haven't read it yet, but I'm excited to. And I should have read it so I could talk about it tonight. We will talk about it on this week's weekly comic book review. Gotham City Year One, though, really good. I really loved issue 3. Also, I really enjoyed, I'm really enjoying the GCPD, the Blue Wall book by John Ridley. It's making me want to read I Am Batman. It really does. John Ridley's doing a really great job with that book. PCP is a major big time. Well, thank you, buddy. Hey, and the PS2 slaps. Yeah, it actually might be hard to find a PS2 in working condition to give away. We'll figure out something for $15K. It's going to take a while to get to the 800. 2020 was a big blow up year, and then everything kind of slows down with the subscribers. I think a lot of people are starting to get. Unfortunately, I think a lot of people are leaving the industry. Like, a lot of fans are getting like bored. That's why Pop Culture Philosophers is important. That's why some of our friends here on YouTube were important, to keep the level of excitement and positivity in the industry, because otherwise, especially if you're out there on your own, trying to keep up with spec books, trying to keep up with this, getting overwhelmed by your collection. I put out a video, 10 simple rules for enjoying comics. I stand behind that. I think it's easy to get overwhelmed, not have a space to actually enjoy comics. And it becomes almost like a chore and a burden, and an oppressive burden at times. But I'm seeing people leaving the industry. We got to keep these people in the industry. How do we do that? By celebrating comics, celebrating collecting comics and however you want to, and getting people to read the comics. Not everything they collect. You can still do it. You just read some of your comics. If you don't read them, just read some. You will be like, holy shit. Some really good stories in comics. Some really great artwork in comics. Some of these companies, some of these publishers, though, they aren't helping themselves, are they? Robbie's going to send out a game cast for Malibu's Most Wanted. OUG says Robbie's going to give away a framed picture of the PS5. Verno says, do not skip the narration for Supergirl. It's great. Well, that's why you stopped reading comics, I guess, because you didn't know what the fuck you were talking about, Verno. Why don't you stick to horror movies, buddy? I'm just kidding. Station. I'm just kidding. That was a joke, everybody. I just want you to know. Verno's a great guy. Love that guy. Punisher Batman crossover should happen again. Involve the Hand. Yeah, that could be cool. You mean the GameCube? Nah, I couldn't afford that, so I got Gamecast. I was wondering what a Gamecast was. I was just going with it. 2008 Wildcats by Christos Gage was pretty good. Never read that one, Steph. Verno says, as someone that's never been attached to Adam Strange, I love that book. Once again, why don't you stick to your horror movies? Oh, yeah, King's Vision series. That's one of my favorite series from him. That book is fucking awesome. He also is graced with some of the best artists out there, too. Like, with an inferior artist, Vision doesn't work as well as it does. But with Gabriel Hernandez Walta, it does work. It does work. Same thing with, if it wasn't Mitch Garrett's doing Mr. Miracle, like if it was Tom Rainey. As much as I love Tom Rainey, that book wouldn't work. It wouldn't have slapped. William says there's a fan film of Superman Batman titled World's Finest, and it's like the 78, 89 characters teaming up. That sounds cool. Oh, the Disney Vault. Bobby says, seen Song of the South in the theater when I was a kid. Mike says Song of the South is on Blu-ray. I don't think it is, brother. If it is, it's not real. That's a banned film, brother. So you can get a Spanish version of it. There's one, too. Is that really? Is that legit? There ain't no way. That does not look like a Disney. It says Disney Movie Rewards. I don't know. I think that's a bootleg. If they did release it, it would be heavily fucking edited, bro. There ain't no way. Oh, Chargers Dolphins tonight. Who gives a shit? Oh, 10-0 Chargers lead? Okay, there you go. Never mind. Guilty Corgi's in the house station. Hey, I remember Rex Mundy. I told my girlfriend she has to pick something off your wish list. I hope she has a decent enough time navigating that wish list. That's like a look into my soul is a look into my Amazon wish list. If you really want to know someone, look at their Amazon wish list. I keep a wish list because what I do is I have the movies, for the most part, that I want to get on there. And the wish list is really good. If you check it, it'll let you know, like, this title's dropped 40% since you've added it. And then you know when to strike. Or a title will go out of, like, it will go out of stock. And you're like, what? It's out of stock. And then it comes back and you're like, oh. So now you know that, like, it's starting to become more limited, right? At Amazon warehouses. They found some more, but they're a little bit more limited. So it's a way to manage it and plan. And it's one of the rules in how to enjoy comics. Same way to enjoy movie collecting, Blu-ray collecting, 4K collecting, whatever, is make a plan, have a theme, have something you're trying to do, have a goal. I saw a Batman Spawn poster at a local LCS. I was like, whoa, so mine. Then I saw the price, $49.95. What gives? I have no idea. Each shop got 2 promo posters, one with Batman over Spawn, one with Spawn over Batman. We hung up the Batman over Spawn. I took the Spawn over Batman, so that poster needs to be hung up. But I got my George Perez Fantastic Four back there, so I got to find a place to put it. Because I don't want to move the Fantastic Four by George Perez, because that's good, and that's like 90s Fantastic Four. Late 80s, 90s Fantastic Four, which is the first Fantastic Four I knew. Touchdown Dolphins, all right. Lakers were playing today, too. Did they wind up winning? They were beating the Pistons. Yay, Lakers won. 11-15, baby. We beat the 7-22 Pistons. Congratulations. We were doing really good there for a while. And I actually watched the game Friday. And then AD got like 3 fouls within like the first 5 fucking minutes of the game. And they had to sit his ass down for most of it. Bullshit. You have an anime series on your list? Yeah, I have Samurai 7's on there. I love Samurai 7. I used to have it on DVD, got rid of it to get the Blu-ray, and still haven't picked it up. But I may have had some more on there. I had some more on there that got picked up for me before from some friends and family. Like I got Trinity Blood, Samurai Champloo, Cowboy Bebop. Those are some of my favorites. I need to put the Neon Genesis series on there. I love Neon Genesis. I have Akira. I have Blood the Last Vampire on VHS. Household Essentials. You know it. Just look at the list. You'll know what I'm talking about. Household Essentials, baby. Correlation. Thank you, OUG. I knew I could count on you. Thank you. Less books, more quality. Exactly, Fable. Find value in what you love. Exactly, OUG. Perry says, burnout is real. I had to take a step back this year. Yep, burnout is real. Oh, chat jumped. There we are. More books, screw quality, bring back the 90s. Well, it seems like that's what they're doing. Sometimes in a good sense. Sometimes in a bad sense. David says, just read What's the Furthest Place from Here? I'm loving it. I fell out of that one. I want to read it when it's complete, I guess, or something. Fable says, the book I'm surprised I've been liking is Captain America's Sentinel of Liberty. I jumped out of that one, both that and Symbol of Truth. I'm harsh on Marvel books. I'll jump out of them really quick. The reason why I stick with some DC books longer is because I get to read my DC books early. That's why. Twitch, you didn't have to do that. Thank you. So if Song of the South is 86, then are the Crows and Dumbos edited out? I don't know. I got the Blu-ray. It's got the crows in it. Now, obviously, we know what's up with those crows. We get it. But we shouldn't erase the dull spots of our history, because that's problematic to me. Because we need to understand this stuff existed, and we've moved on. Where's the sense of progression if we whitewash the past, for lack of a better term? Yeah, I love Samurai 7. It's like an interpretation of Seven Samurai by Akira Kurosawa, and I'm a big Kurosawa fan, so I love Samurai 7. I think that's badass. I was never a Vampire Hunter D fan. I've tried. I would love to find Night Hunter. Wait, it jumped down on me. Where'd it go? I would love to find Night Hunter Vice Cruise on DVD. Not familiar with that. And by the way, Twitch, I know that you sent me that anime series, and I plan on watching that during the year-end PCP break. And we'll be covering that at the beginning of 2023. Here on Rockin Robbie Live. Thank you, Twitch. Let's see if I can. This is for Davey. Let's see if I can do it. Rockin Robbie Live. Not good. Hey, a super chat from Comic Toby 420. Was it a good trade with Russia, and what will we get for El Chapo? If we're talking about the WNBA player, right? I'm glad to see her come back. I wish we could have got more people back. But glad to see that come to end. Thank you for the super chat, Comic Book Toby. Comic Toby 420. All right. And by the way, if anybody does send me a gift off my wish list, I might reach out to you, try to send you something back. I appreciate it. All right. Now we are going through the filmography of John Carpenter, because I now own physically every John Carpenter film. So we've been going through them at a slow, steady pace. steady pace. But now we are in 1984, and it's time to talk about John Carpenter's Starman. Now, Starman is a movie I remember as being a part of John Carpenter's catalog, but I don't think I've actually watched this for a very long time. I remember watching it as a kid. I don't know if it was a VHS rental or if it was on TV or something like that, but I remember watching it and thinking it was cool, but not really getting it. And I didn't love it as much as things like The Goonies or Gremlins or Back to the Future or The Last Starfighter or anything like that, right? And it's been a long time since I've watched this film. This movie blew me the fuck away. This movie's amazing. If you've never seen Starman, it's a science fiction romantic comedy directed by John Carpenter that's very dissimilar from a lot of his other movies, but very similar in the cinematic style and structure, right? So it starts off, we're on this planet. They get the Voyager 2 spacecraft with the message, hey, come to Earth. So they send the space probe to Earth. It crash lands on Earth, right outside a house with this woman who has just recently lost her husband, right? She's played by Karen Allen. Her name is Ginny, I believe. If I remember, Ginny, I can't remember, but Karen Allen. And the alien who is in this spacecraft goes into her house, basically looks at like a photo stuff. Like he gets a piece of hair from her deceased husband. He looks at the photos, he looks at the video, and he recreates himself. He basically creates a clone body of her husband and inhabits it, right? And of course, that's played by Jeff Bridges. And she very quickly realizes this dude is otherworldly, not her husband. And he basically kidnaps her and says, I need to get to Arizona to be at the place where the mothership is going to be. And if I'm not there in 3 days to leave with them, I'm going to die. So it becomes a road trip. And even though it starts with her kind of being coerced and forced into it, they slowly develop a bond and a relationship. And it is one of the best love stories I've ever seen. Like, I can't believe that I've been sleeping on Starman pretty much my whole life. And I don't think I may have actually seen this movie since I was a kid. I don't remember watching it as a teenager or as a young adult. And I have definitely not watched it as a somewhat proper adult, right? They develop this relationship, this bond, and it feels so authentic. And the way that it develops throughout the movie is exceptionally well done. Now, this is not written by Carpenter. This was a movie that was in development before Carpenter was attached to it. But after he had done Christine, he was offered this movie. It appealed to him because it was outside of the horror genre, which he had kind of hit a slump. And Christine was a moderate success. So they gave him a good budget on this one. It was Columbia Pictures. I love this bit when he eats the Dutch apple pie, by the way. So, and then you got the government. The government is trying to track him down. There's this dude who's a SETI scientist. He's actually trying to, he's excited about the idea of discovering alien life and interacting with it. But the government is after him. So the road trip becomes a road chase. So the government is actively chasing them. Karen Allen's character eventually gets on board because they fall in love. It's tender. It's awesome. You got a lot of fish out of water stuff. Jeff Bridges does an amazing job with that. He was nominated for an Academy Award for this movie. His body movements, the way he talks, his misconceptions about things, is some of the best fish out of water stuff in cinema. It's really endearing and it's really cool. And it's funny. This, like I said, it is a science fiction romantic comedy. So it is funny, but it's got a lot of heart to it. And that heart is Karen Allen's performance. I'll tell y'all what, I've never necessarily would have considered myself a fan of Karen Allen. I mean, I like Raiders of the Lost Ark, and all that jam. And I'm sure there's other things out there that I'm forgetting that she's in that I've seen. But she kills it. She's so relatable. So tragic. So honest. So brutally honest and vulnerable in this movie. And she is such a perfect on-screen duo with this Jeff Bridges playing this alien character in a human body, trying to learn how to use it, trying to learn things. And one of the things he learns about is love. They actually wind up having a baby together and all that stuff. When they get close to where he's supposed to go, which is this big-ass crater in Arizona, the government catches up to him, but the SETI scientist lets him go because he knows that the government's just there to try like dissect him, figure out what's going on. By the way, he will die if he does not leave, right? So they eventually get to the crater. The government's there. They're firing him with missiles and everything, but luckily the ship shows up. What an amazing visual sequence, and the visuals in this movie really hold up. ILM did it. Rick Baker, Stan Winston did some of the makeup effects in certain bits when the baby is growing into Jeff Bridges. Really good stuff. And at the very, very end, they have a very touching last moment together before he gets taken back home. It's just amazing. And the music is phenomenal. Oh my goodness. Starman. This is the biggest surprise in this journey. I'll be honest with you. I was not looking that forward to re-watching this because in my head, I always lump Starman up with Last Starfighter for some reason. In my head, maybe I watched them around the same time. And I always like, well, Last Starfighter was the one I liked. Starman seemed a little bit boring or a little bit silly or just not something I connected to as a kid. Holy cow. As an adult, this movie slaps. I think it's one of John Carpenter's best films. I really, really do. The music is done by Jack Nietzsche, who had done... he had done something familiar. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. The music is great. Carpenter didn't do it himself. There are moments that it does sound like Carpenter did it, but for the most part, there's this beautiful, like ethereal, sweeping synth. That's the main theme, and then you get this like do 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 do. You get all that kind of flavor in there with this big la, na, na, la, 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 la. It's goddamn epic. It's amazing. Dean Cundey, longtime cinematographer with John Carpenter, they had a disagreement. They weren't getting along well, so he did not do the cinematography in this movie. Instead, it was Donald M. Morgan. It looks great. The special effects look great. Man, I love this damn movie. I cannot believe that I have slept on this movie my entire life. It was a moderate success. It never really garnered a cult status or anything like that. Maybe that's one of the reasons why me and probably many other people have been sleeping on it. There's my Blu-ray of it, the Scream Factory. It's Scream Factory, which is weird. All the John Carpenter stuff is labeled as Scream Factory. This is not a horror film. It is a science fiction film, and it is a romantic comedy, but it works. It works so much. This has got the reversible sleeve. That's the new art right there, but I always like going with the original art, which is usually the original poster art. So that's always what I display. If you have the slip, you can display both, but a fucking fantastic movie. Blew me away. Music's terrific. Performances are terrific. Story is terrific. Pacing's terrific. Cinematography, cinematically speaking, anamorphic widescreen, big scope effect, well utilized by Carpenter. Like, intensely well utilized. This has some of the most beautiful shit, whether it's this landscape, whether it's like the plateaus in Utah or in Arizona, the crater, or even the farm where the shit lands, or even when the ship lands in the explosion, the damn alien fucking world, everything looks so goddamn good. And I saw Oliver Harper in his retrospective on this mention that he appreciated how Carpenter did not change his style for the different tone and different genre. It's still a Carpenter film. It's obviously a Carpenter film, and it's, out of John Carpenter's own mouth, the only positive film in his career, pretty much. The only one with a positive message, an uplifting message about humanity. I fucking love this movie. I think it's one of his best. I think it's one of his absolute best. I'm going to give Starman 5 ya digs. What do you think about Starman? What do you recollect? What do you remember? What do you think? What do you rate it out of 5 ya digs? Let us know in the comments down below. Really blown away by the rewatch of Starman this week. If you could not tell. Really blown away. She is the mom in The Sandlot, isn't she? God damn. Fable says, love Starman. Awesome sci-fi story. Eric says, I always got Starman and The Last Starfighter mixed up. Me too. Don is in the house. What is up, Don? HBO played Starman too much when I was a kid. I loved it until about the 10th watch. Latchkey kid problems. Is that the chick from Indiana Jones? Yes, it is. Indy's wife. I wonder if she's in the new movie. She's in Animal House. Okay. I haven't seen Animal House since early 20s. Dennis Leary is the ultimate movie stepdad. Eric says Starman is a solid 3.5 to 4. F it, it's a 4. Hell yeah. Twitch has never seen Starman before. You should check it out. It's really good. I don't know if it's streaming anywhere. Let's see. I'm just glad that Scream Factory, Shout Factory in particular, has really... They made a conscious effort to make sure to get all of his stuff available and physical, including like Someone's Watching Me and Elvis, the TV movies, which we've covered here. And eventually these are all going to get clipped out, put together in one big video. Right now you can rent it on like Amazon for $2.99, Vudu, YouTube. There's a premium subscription on Philo and Sling TV, so it's part of some kind of one of those cable streaming services or something's got it. Stars or some shit. Who knows? Showtime. Like it better than E.T. It is very familiar with E.T. In fact, when it was being developed, there was one director, I can't remember who was attached to it around 82. And then E.T. came out and he was like, this is too similar. So they actually reworked the script a few times to make it less similar. But it's about an alien who's on Earth, has to get back home or he'll die. Sounds like E.T., but this one's not for kids. Not that there's anything really messed up about it. By the way, the deer hunter, the jackass in the movie, is the guy who played Jason in Final Chapter. Barry says, I got some stuff off your list, but it says it's shipping to my house. I'm so high, I messed something up. I'm sure you can go in there and change it. You should be able to have it sent to me, but that's Barry's so high. I love it. Bobby gives it 4.5, you digs. Oh, she is in Scrooge. Man, we just watched and covered Scrooge last year. Of course Karen Allen's in Scrooge. She's nice in Scrooge, too. This is her best performance I've ever seen, though. She really stood out for me in here. God damn, you're right. She's in way more movies than I remember. Mark says, Starman is a great film. They played it every year on CBC in Canada. Solid 4 for sure. Hell yeah. Bobby says, PCP Army is the Animal House of YouTube. OUG says, all I can think of right now is Moonchild by Shakespeare's sister. It's totally unrelated, but yeah, if you know who they are, then 2 imaginary points to you. I don't. I'm sorry. Do I get docked 2 imaginary points? Do I? I hope not. All right, we're about to take a quick break. When we come back, Image in the 90s and Datman Batman here on Rockin Robbie.
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have it douse, not what I'm about, have your fucking cloud, it be raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, bitch I'm legend bound, can't stop me now. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. 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 just wanna hear it out your mouth, yeah. Give me fuel, it's a tool that I use to go ahead and run my fucking mouth, yeah. I take shots, I take loss, I make shots, I miss lots. I tell you get big box, you get yachts, you swing lots and pop off a big shot. I ain't done chasing, got big dreams, bigger things, impatient. Who's at the top think they need replacement? Who's at the top think I'm gonna erase them? Face it, I don't give up quick, I don't give up shit, I won't give up this. Cause I know that I want it, know that I'm on it, I'll make it, I promise. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can.
Hey there, everybody. Come check out The Experience this Monday, December 12th at 6 p.m. Eastern. We're going to have all your favorites, Marvel, DC, Dynamite. Rex will be here, Robbie, John. I'm sure I'm going to pop in for a minute. And if you look to my left right here, you can see Gargoyles is now on sale. So check it out at your local comic book store or get them online at Dynamite. So, yeah, come check out the show. Remember, it's The Experience this Monday, December 12th at 6 p.m. Eastern. Can't wait to see you.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Rockin Robbie Live here on Pop Culture Philosophers. We've had a great show already. We did the DC sneak peek and we talked about Starman, the John Carpenter film, which blew me the fuck away this week. First time as an adult watching that movie. Absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. Fantastic. So it's been a great show, all that and lots of other banter. This is the show where we talk about comics, movies, pop culture, and a whole lot more. It's one of my favorite shows to do because I get to talk to you and our friends here in the PCP Army. Lots of fun. Coming up, we're about to do Image in the 90s and Datman Batman, and we're going to reveal the January and February lineup for PCP Movie Night 2023. Some people have already, the patrons already know what they are, right? I revealed that to the patrons a few days ago. And in the PCP Army, the Facebook group, we've been revealing one a day. So they know the January lineup there. And the Bad Batch knows it too. Anyway, you can get $15 in Whatnot credit at whatnot.com/invite/the Rockin' Robbie. You can save 10% at dynamicforces.com when you use the code Robbie. You can support the channel with Super Chat or at patreon.com/PCP, like these fine PCP patrons right there. You can follow me on Twitter at the Rockin Robbie. You can follow Pop Culture Philosophers on Facebook and on Instagram. And if you're on Facebook, join the PCP Army. That's the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. Tomorrow night, we wrap up the 2022 season of PCP Movie Night with Batman Returns. That's right, it's the season, or should I say, 'tis the season. So we're talking about Batman Returns, one of my favorite Christmas movies. But before that, and after my show at the EXP, be sure to be sandwiched in between with Scarpad on Scarpad Sci-Fi Sojourns. They're going to be talking about Clockwork Orange. It'll be Scarpad, Steph, and Dylan, if I remember correctly. Speaking of Dylan, on Dylan's Horror Show, Saturday night, we're talking about Silent Night, Deadly Night, 3, 4, and 5, a holiday thriller triple feature. Very excited for that. It'll be my first time watching all three. So there you go. Station. Did anybody notice like a glitch when I went to that last break? Like my streaming software crashed. It just crashed, and I was like freaking out. I was like, oh my God. I haven't had a stream crash in forever. Like that used to be like the fucking bit we did in the first like year of Rockin Robbie Live. Shit would just crash. And I was like, what the fuck? So I just rebooted it, and then it comes right back. So there you go. That's pretty cool. But all the support we need is you being here, liking, sharing, subscribing, participating in the conversation. We appreciate all the support. Also, if you want to get me a Christmas gift, you can do so at my wish list link, which is pinned to the top of the live chat there. Some people have already graciously sent me some stuff, so thank you so much for that. Perry sent some stuff for me to his house. So there you go. And yeah, the dashing just means, okay, so what does it mean? People are saying, some people think the dashing during the breaks means farting. Some people think it means smoke some chiba, maybe smoke a cigarette, smoke a doob, whatever you want to smoke. To me, I like to say, it's time to dash to the bathroom, because that's the dash emoji. It's time to dash to the bathroom. It's time to dash to the fridge to grab another beer. It's time to dash to the liquor cabinet to get another whiskey or gin and tonic or vodka tonic, whatever the hell you drink. It's time to dash to get another Dr. Pepper, whatever it is, right? It's time to dash to smoke and hit some of that ganj. And it's time to dash, just make sure that your cats are doing good, your kids are doing good, your partner's doing good. No, I mean, it means it's time to hit the ganj. Anyway, how's everybody doing? Lost in Comics is excited for Image in the 90s. Moments away. Perry says, when it gets here, I'm going to send it out. I love you, Perry. Oh, I love it. Perry says, I'm rolling one up, but I got the Gandalf pipe in rotation. I used to have a Gandalf pipe. I loved it. I just felt so badass. Yeah, those are some great movies coming up, Steph. Steph will be joining us on Batman Returns. We've been getting a lot of Steph action lately on Dylan's Horror Show, on Blame Fable, on PCP Movie Night. If you missed our review on Go, another one of my favorite Christmas movies, definitely check that out. We did that last Monday. And tomorrow night, Batman Returns. Very excited for that. Let me make sure I got the button ready. Okay. I clip these out, and I know I do. So, like, I always try to give myself, like a good, like, clip-in moment, you know? Bear with me. All right, y'all, it's time for one of my favorite segments. We've been going through all of the founding Image fathers' first efforts in Image 30 years ago, but we've left one out, but we're correcting that right now before the end of the year. Here it comes. It's time for Image in the 90s. And today we're talking about Shadowhawk, Volume 1, the entire 4-issue miniseries from Jim Valentino. Now, Jim Valentino was maybe not as popular as some of the others of the Image founders, like Todd McFarlane, Rob Liefeld, Jim Lee, Mark Silvestri, Eric Larson even, right? But Jim Valentino has a good foundational basis on comic book art, comic book making. He was the only one who had actually self-published before, and Shadowhawk was his creation. It's a little Moon Knight, it's a little Darkhawk, and it's a little Wolverine. But it's all distinctly Shadowhawk. Let's dive into this. I haven't read this in years, right? So it's by Jim Valentino. We got Digital Chameleon here on the coloring, Diane Valentino on the letters, Eric Stevenson as the editor. Notice that. Very early on, Eric Stevenson's involvement in Image. Jack Kirby, this book is dedicated to. So it starts off with these dudes. They're crooks, they're criminals, they're thugs, and they're trying to attack this homeless man. Why? I guess just for the jollies of it. Turns out it's not a homeless man, it's Shadowhawk. Dressed up as a homeless man. The first time we ever see Shadowhawk is this. And he just takes these dudes and kicks their asses, and then we get introduced to how he likes to take out his foes. He breaks their spines. Shadowhawk breaks spines. That's what's going on. So then we get introduced to this police detective Reeves and his captain. I can't remember his name right now. His captain doesn't like Reeves' partner. I can't remember his name right now for some reason. I can only remember the name Reeves because it's really big right there on my screen. But then it goes back to Nighthawk. Now, or Shadowhawk. Fuck. Yeah, Shadowhawk. So one of the things that's weird about this is that the perspective of the narration of the captions is someone like talking to Shadowhawk. One of the big gimmicks of this series is that we don't know who Shadowhawk is, and we're supposed to put together the clues to figure out who it is. But then you got Shadowhawk running around, then you got the police captain and this dude talking back and forth. He doesn't like his partner, tells him to go crawl back into the bottle, get him out of the bottle. Harlem's on fire. So there's this dude named Arson. He is just burning up Harlem. Then we go to this crowd scene where we meet these two dudes. One name, I think it's Hojo. Let me open up my book here. Yeah, Hojo and Paul Johnstone. Spoilers, Shadowhawk's in the scene, but we don't get that revealed yet. But they're basically talking about how Johnstone used to be a DA, but he quit because he kind of got disenfranchised, right? Then we cut to after their conversation, get a little bit of a Shaft Youngblood nod there. Then we get into this old woman seeing some dudes selling drugs, selling crack. She attacks him, says, "You won't be selling that crack on my street." Shadowhawk intervenes. "You're going to kill an old woman? I want to break your backs," man. That's what he does. He attacks him. Pretty badass stuff. He gets shot, but he's got a bulletproof armor. That's a really great scene. Now, like I said, Jim Valentino's not the flashiest. He's not the most popular of the Image founders, but he's got a very solid foundation on comics, how to make them, and how to tell a story, especially visually. And to do things with different perspectives, different action angles, and things like that. Putting it together. This feels the most like an 80s like indie comic than the other Image ones. Those definitely cemented and rooted in the 90s. This one feels firmly planted in the 80s a little bit. But some cool action scenes. We get introduced to this reporter. She's trying to report on this vigilante, but it's being covered up by her editor. She's like, "I'm going to go take this hire to his boss." Who is this woman we meet? Name, is it Max? Anyway, her criminal name is Vendetta. She's super rich. Her father, she explains, was a mob don. He died. She took out all of his enemies. She's like super rich. She's the one responsible for burning Harlem. She's the one that sent Arson to do it. And Arson shows up in her office just to like fuck with her and gets pissed off. It's just there to introduce her, right? And then we get a little bit more Shadowhawk action. He's busting through the glass. We get the police detective. They're coming after Shadowhawk. They're trying to stop him. What's Vendetta going to do? It's all getting tied up together. And then the reporter comes to talk to Vendetta. And oddly enough, as she's telling her about Shadowhawk, she just gives her a massage. Really weird and off-putting. And then we get a nice like centerfold spread of Shadowhawk. That's how we end issue number 1. And then we see the first image ever drawn of Shadowhawk by Jim Valentino. In issue number 2, we get this cool like foily wraparound cover. And in this issue, we're promised an appearance by Spawn and Shadowhawk versus Arson. And that's what we get. Now we get Eric Vincent on the coloring and Kurt Hathaway on the lettering. Lettering improves. Coloring gets worse for me. I don't like the coloring in issues 3, 4, and 5, or 2, 3, and 4 compared to issue number 1. But in this one, we get some kids, college kids. They're in the wrong place at the wrong time. They should have known better. They get attacked because In the early 90s, the threat of gang violence was everywhere in the media, on the news, all that kind of stuff. There are some interesting color choices here. Like in the background, I love the green and the blue there, but it just, something about Shadowhawk does not pop here, and it kind of takes me out of it. But we get to see some more Shadowhawk action. Some decent enough colors, but they kind of get muddied up. And then we get to a party scene. It's one of Vendetta's parties. The Antoinette, Miss Antoinette, the reporter, is there. She's talking to one of the reporters from the Spawn books. And then the police officer, or the detective, who's the partner of Reeves, his name, let me look, and it's Maxie is her name. Yeah, Lieutenant Jax. Lou Jax, there we go. Jax. Jax is the one that's being set up as the guy who the captain doesn't like, right? So he actually has a friendship with Vendetta. So we get introduced to that concept. And then the deputy mayor shows up and he's like, hey, you lay off this vigilante bit. We're going to keep this quiet. Meanwhile, Arson is back up to his shenanigans, just burning shit up. And, Shadowhawk's got to stop that, right? Meanwhile, we get introduced to these new characters. They keep introducing these characters to be red herrings. But we get introduced to this dude, Carl, and Christina. Christina used to be a police officer, but she got removed for excessive force. Then we get that Spawn reporter back on the screen, and right here, and a really cool double-page spread. Actually, yeah, it's a double-page spread, but I didn't realize. Maybe it's not a double-page spread. But anyway, this is where Shadowhawk meets Spawn. A very brief cameo. Basically, Spawn shows up and goes, hey, if you're the one doing the arson, we're going to have problems. But if you're trying to stop them, that's cool. Shadowhawk's like, I ain't doing no arson. And Spawn's like, all right, finish it tonight or I will. And that's the Spawn cameo. But I like Jim Valentino's Spawn. Actually looks really good. It's all cape, but that's all you got to do for Spawn. Just make him look cool. Chains and capes, right? Chains and capes. Then we cut to, I can't tell if that's Reeves or Jax. I think it's Reeves. Yeah, it's Reeves. He sees the police captain. Police captain's pissed. He tells him that he thinks Jax is the Shadowhawk and he's going to prove it. Then we get a double-page spread of Shadowhawk going after Arson. A nice little fight sequence. I like it. It's lively. I just wish the colors were a little bit better. But 3 double-page spreads together. That one didn't mash up too well, did it? Anyway, and then a big explosion. We don't know what's going to happen. Then we get introduced to another character who is the sister. Now, this is Tawana, who is the sister of one of the dudes that Shadowhawk has incapacitated and put into the hospital. She is swearing revenge. This will become important. Then we see Hojo, who is John Stone's, I think, brother, right? I'm pretty sure. And he's like fiending for a fix. He's calling out for his brother. He needs some help. And then we get introduced to this just random ass new character who's this monster in the sewer who like kills people with acid, has to feed on them. Then we go to issue number 3, which has a glow-in-the-dark cover, really using the gimmicks here. And the biggest clue to the identity of Shadowhawk is in the first few pages of this book. And that's, we get to see, wait, where'd it go? I don't have the mugging in here. There's a mugging scene that we see, and it's John Stone getting mugged, and then the next big double-page splash starts with, that's why you do what you do. Anyway, that's really odd. Somehow I missed that first page there. I'll have to show it to you. Then we get this double-page splash. Shadowhawk is injured from that big explosion, that big fire. He passes out in the alley. This woman walks by, and since Shadowhawk's passed out, he can't help her. She gets killed by the monster who's going to burn people with acid. This is a really great centerfold piece right there. Then we cut to Vendetta, and she gets introduced to Tahana and starts kind of leading this idea that she wants to start this criminal enterprise and introduces this dude, Blackjack, who is some dumbass character, but he's like super powered. This is where the coloring starts getting so muddy, and look at Tahana's face. Like, what is the smudging? What is the idea here? Anyway, we get to the police scene. The reporter's there. She's like, let me see the body. Gnarly. Love the paneling there. Love how we get to see this like dissolved body of this victim across 4 panels in a 9-panel grid. Really like that. Shadowhawk has fixed his armor, and now he's back ready to go and find this acid-spewing monster. They don't know that it's a monster yet, but he's out there ready to attack. Then we get introduced to this dude who's on fire. It's actually arson. Somehow the explosion has changed him, and he is now permanently on fire and is able to shoot like fire bolts out and shit like that. We get some more police action here. The captain's trying to present his case on Jax, and it's not working. They're not buying it. They're like, you need more evidence. Then we got Shadowhawk following the trail of acid, and then he comes across, or he will come across the monster. But first, this is some really interesting pacing going on here, and I like the way that the layouts go over here. Shadowhawk's looking for this monster. Arson's out there freaking out because he's on fire. The monster's just trying to get some help. As he's about to attack Hojo, then he comes across Arson as well as Shadowhawk. Shadowhawk tries to get Arson to help him, but he won't. And he winds up doing the right thing anyway and starts attacking the monster. This big fight erupts, and dude, he dispatches him by shoving his grappling hook, shooting it right through this dude's chest, ripping his heart out. What a great panel. Holy cow. That was fun. Then we get to the police captain. He's had enough of it. Meanwhile, Johnstone visits his brother in the hospital. He's not doing so well. Plus, he's been recently mugged. Hint, hint. Anyway, the police captain's like, I've had enough of this. I'm calling in a friend from Chicago to take out Shadowhawk, because they think Shadowhawk's responsible for everything. We're bringing in the Savage Dragon. So no crazy cover gimmick on issue number 4, but we do got Savage Dragon there. So Savage Dragon shows up. He's not necessarily super pleased to be there. He's dealing with a lot of people lumping him in with other superheroes, and he's not down. Savage Dragon comes across really like an asshole in this issue. So it's on character, but a little bit off character. But he seems like he doesn't really want to be there, but he's doing a favor for an old friend. And then Johnstone shows up and finds out that his brother's died. So Hojo's dead, allegedly. We shall see, right? Then we get some more of this police drama going on. Basically, what's going on with this police stuff is they're setting up this one guy, Jax, Lieutenant Jax, I think, Lou Jax, to be the potential lead suspect for who is Shadowhawk. And he's got like a secret, so he's always missing and things like that. And they'll eventually reveal that secret, and it's here. He reveals that his mentor is near death or some shit. His parents died. His mentor's in the hospital, so he goes to the hospital, and it's pretty lame. It's just there to be, a red herring. But then we go back to Vendetta, who is now in her full-on supervillain gear, and Arson shows up, and he's like, yo, what the fuck? She goes, hey, tell you what, come down to the laboratory with me. We'll figure out how to keep you contained, right? This laboratory, they've discovered, they believe it belongs to some other race on Earth. I think it's part of this book, The Others. I don't know how far that actually went, but Blackjack is there using this technology to turn Tahana into a superhero vortex. She's got wind powers now, right? So we're building a superhero or a supervillain army that's going to be geared up to go against Shadowhawk. And I really kind of like this. This, even though it's a 4-issue series, it does a great job of just kind of setting up a lot of stuff, but doing it in a fun, non-boring kind of way. And it's got some interesting color choices, but there's something about the printing. It almost looks like a Valiant book. There's too much orange in it and shit like that. But I like the use of blues and greens, so I don't want to be too harsh on the coloring. But Shadowhawk's after another criminal, and then Savage Dragons finds out what's going on, and then a nice double page splash. We're about to have a battle between Savage Dragon and Shadowhawk, and it's fun. It's nice, perfectly choreographed, wonderfully executed. Coloring could be a little bit better. Like I said, here and there, just a little bit more distinction, maybe between the backgrounds and the foregrounds. I mean, it's there, but it's just the orange. I don't know, man. There's something about it. It just becomes kind of brown. But at the same time, there are choices that I like, but it doesn't always come across very well. In the meantime, Vendetta, they decide they want to recruit Shadowhawk, not destroy him. So they go after to save him from Savage Dragon, and then recruit him. You get a really wonky image here of Savage Dragon kicking Blackjack, and it's like, bruh, you just broke your fucking back, Savage. That's savage. Then Savage Dragon gets dispatched. They take Shadowhawk up there. They're like, hey, man, we want you to join us. Shadowhawk's like, nah, I ain't going to join you. Then Vendetta's like, I'll kill you. He's like, option 3, I'm going to jump out the fucking window. And then it's like 10 days later, so 1 week later. And they're like, do you think he survived? They're like, no, he took a big fall. And then Savage Dragon is like, yo, I'm going back to Chicago. I got my own series to start. I ain't got time to fuck with this. And then we end with the still unmasked Shadowhawk thinking about how he's kind of become that which he loathes, that which he hates. He's become a criminal. Is he doing the right thing? Is he truly a hero? So it actually hits hard, not too hard, but it hits decent enough hard. It hits hard enough at the end to really kind of bring it together. Shadowhawk was a fun read. I think it was a very fun read. I think it was stronger than Cyberforce. I think it's stronger than the first issue of Youngblood. I think Spawn is still like top dog, I think, as far as the first year of Image for me, but Shadowhawk was pretty fun. So there's issue number 1. You got some cool bits here. Love it when we just get introduced to the idea that he's just going to bust people's fucking spines. I'm just going to show you some of the better parts. What is John Stone's first name? Paul. Paul's Shadowhawk, y'all. Anyway, I really like it. I was really surprised at how fundamentally sound Jim Valentino was. Like, I wasn't expecting much. I didn't grow up to be a big Valentino fan. And now reading this has kind of got me wanting to, I don't know, go and kind of piece together his Guardians run. I know it couldn't have been too long, right? But this is that wraparound cover I was talking about. I think that's pretty badass. We got some nice double page. But this is where the art just gets a little bit too, I don't know. It's all right. Like I said, I like some of the choices, more particular in the background. They're trying to do what they're trying to do, but it just comes across a little bit muddy, a little, I don't know, just a little orange brownie. I really like Valentino's Spawn. I'll be honest with y'all. But revisiting this was fun. I haven't checked this out in years and years and years. I'm looking forward to checking out more. I mean, like I said, it's not the best thing, but I think it's pretty solid. I had a lot of fun with it. I'll show you. I love this little centerfold gimmick that they keep doing in these. Look at that. That's dope. Issue 3's got the glow-in-the-dark cover. And it looks nice when it glows in the dark. Turn out the lights and now glow to the extreme. I rock a mic like a vandal. Light up the stage, wax a chump like a candle. Dance. But I had a lot of fun with this. My biggest gripe would be the coloring. But it's very sound. The action sequences are great. The layouts are great. When that dude gets his fucking heart ripped out, that's awesome. I think that's great. I was surprised at how much I actually did dig this. Because to be honest with y'all, I saved this kind of towards last because I thought that this would be one of the weaker ones, but it was actually one of the stronger launches for me. It kept me interested all the way through. It's good, solid superhero storytelling. You got guest appearances. Savage Dragon being the most significant. The Spawn one is pretty wild. And a good solid ending. And a good setup. So, Shadowhawk, really solid. 30 years. Can y'all believe it? I'd give it 3.5 you digs. What do you think of Shadowhawk? What are your recollections? What do you think? What do you rate it? Let us know in the comments down below. This has been Image in the 90s. All right. That was fun. That was real fun. I saw that we got a super chat from Comic Toby. Why are you reading like D. Hunter? I don't even know what that means. But thank you for the super chat. We really do appreciate it. Let me tell you about this little man I know. His name is Hellboy. He was sent to the earth some long time ago to save it or destroy. Brought to this earth by Rasputin, son of a demon and a nun who had sex with the demon but was raised by Professor Broom. Now he fights evil and monsters. Shit. Now he fights with a man who's a fish named Faith. Now he fights with a fire starter named Liz and an exoplasmic mess named Yokon. BPRD. Thanks so much, Comic Toby 420, for the second super chat of the night, which triggered a Joker Hellboy song. So hell yeah, station. All right. Your image for the show this week looks like you're yelling for your cat to come back in. Hell yeah. Jim Valentino. Dominic says, not true. Eric Larson self-published his first book, Graphic Fantasy. Well, there you go. Shadowhawk, chiropractor for the thugs. For the street toughs, as it were. The pages are numbered at the bottom. Yeah, like, and written out, too. Eric says, Shadowhawk loved the most indie of all Image launch books. Valentino's style is so different than the other founders. Let me rephrase that. It looked the most 90s indie. Yeah, when Punisher turned himself black and teamed up with Luke Cage, they took out some gangs. That was one of our early Marvel in the 90s. That one's been clipped out. We can all revisit that. Valentino's art has a TMNT feel to it. It's got that like kind of 80s underground style to it, a little bit. But trying to adapt into the 90s and what Image was doing. So it's an interesting kind of like balance. I love that. Twitch says, Frank Castle, what do you mean, you people? Luke Cage, what do you mean, you people? Frank Castle was just a dude playing another dude, says Bobby De La Ghetto. The Full Clip says, what are y'all doing up so late on a Sunday? We're doing Rockin' Robbie Live. That's what we're doing. Manny says, so much hip-hop was inspired by Image in the 90s. Whips, chains, handcuffs, smack a little booty up with my belt. Luda forgot the chains. That's why they double it up with the 2 chains. Jesus. Do you think Shadowhawk's modus operandi is what led DC to having Bane break Batman's back in Batman 497? Maybe. Maybe that had something to do with it. When does Shadowhawk get AIDS? I don't know. I don't remember exactly. Now, I know that in the Shadowhawk Zero, which we have covered, the Rob Liefeld thing, it's mentioned in there. We'll be doing Shadowhawk Volume 2 soon. I think it's 3 issues. And then they do another series. And in that one, they have the... Because they don't reveal his identity until the end, or in the second series, they reveal it. And then, is it Volume 3 that has the cover that you can actually unmask him on the cover? I have that, and when we cover it, I'll do the unmasking live. Hey, Damien's in the house. Sleepy Reader 666 station. Pitt, Shadowhawk, Max, Spawn, Trencher, and Youngblood. Yeah, we're going to get to Trencher and Pitt. Did we do Max? We didn't do Max number 1. We did Darker Image, which had Pitt and Max debut in it. We did do Darker Image. Dominic says, for me, nothing beats Savage Dragon. One Collection Down says, love Valentino's Guardians. Yeah, I said Spawn was probably the best of them. I'm sorry. It was Savage Dragon. I've already said that. I've been on record saying that. Savage Dragon blew me away when I read that. For the first time this year. Check out his comic, Brat Pack. That's Rick Veitch. I love Brat Pack. I'm going to be revisiting it soon. Fable likes Valentino's Guardians. I remember having the one cover. I think I may still have it. Even the one from when I was a kid, but the one where it's like Wolverine's skeleton or something. It's like a embossed fucking cover or some shit like that. Everybody had that one. Manny says, last year I did Valentino for February. I remember that. Valentino for Valentino Day, right? His Guardians work was great. Normal Man was my favorite from him. Yeah, I want to dig into Normal Man. I've never read any Normal Man. Was Valentino's Guardians the team with Yondu, Vance Astro, and them? Yes. Eric says, Shadowhawk is a solid 3 for me. Manny says, Taserface was the first big villain. Taserface? Yeah, I've never seen D-Hunter, so I don't know. I wasn't reading for that. I don't know. It may have sounded like I was reading. I wasn't reading. Yeah, I heard about the new Hellboy game, but, I mean, if it's not going to be on 64, I ain't going to be able to play it. Thank you, Jay. Oh, thank you, DMG. Yeah, that's Tomb of Dracula number 13. I believe that's the second appearance of Blade. I don't have a first appearance, but I do have this one, which I do. If I remember correctly, this is the second appearance of Blade, and it's a really beat up copy, but that's how I like them. By the way, here is my CBCA award for best comic review, and I told y'all that they didn't put the S on there, but that's okay. I'm still pleased with it because it lights up, it changes colors. It's really nice. It looks really nice. I hope to have more of these. It'd be nice to have a collection. But nah, this is awesome. So thanks to everybody who voted. Thanks for Brian LCS, CBC Awards. And this is some really fantastic stuff right there. That's great. It's hefty too. It's very nice. It's a very nice thing to have. All right. We're about to get into the Batman segment. So I hope Perry's still here. All right. Next award will be a Grammy for that Hellboy song. I wish. That'd be great. I'd accept that honor. I would, Jay. All right, it's time for the debut of our newest segment here. We're going to be going episode by episode through the first season of Batman, the animated series, on a bit that we like to call
Datman Batman.
And tonight we're going to start with the first episode, and we're doing the production order, not the release order, because the release order is not the correct order. So if you're watching this on HBO Max, you got to do it production-wise. That's the way I'm doing it. That's the way I prefer it. So we're going to start with On Leather Wings, which was directed by Kevin Altieri and written by Mitch Bryan. Mitch Bryan, along with Bruce Timm and Paul Dini, I think were the three responsible really for bringing this project to fruition. So we start off with the police blimp. And one of the things I love about this first episode is it really does establish so much, so efficiently in the first episode. So a police blimp. And then this one dude's like, yo, I think I see something out there. It looks kind of like a bat. And this dude's voice is Kevin Conroy. It's kind of doing like the Bruce Wayne voice. So it's interesting that the first voice we hear is him. But we see the shadow of what it actually is. It ain't Batman, and we ain't being fooled by that. Meanwhile, we go to this dude, the security guard somewhere, and he's like doing this like bullshit like, welcome to the world of Gotham Broadcasting. And it's just a really funny kind of bit. Man-Bat lunges in and attacks him. Meanwhile, the tape recorder's still going on. We get the police basically declaring war on Batman because the giant bat injures Night Watchman. And then we cut to Mayor Hill, Detective Bullock, Commissioner Gordon, all in a room together with Harvey Dent. And this is, I think, the only appearance of Harvey Dent before we get the Two-Face episode, right? So I really love that they're establishing all of these pieces. You got Mayor Hill, you got Bullock, you got Gordon, you even got Dent there. And basically what's going on is that Bullock wants a task force approved by the mayor to go after Batman. Gordon is sticking up for Batman. We're getting this dynamic. And Harvey Dent says, if you catch him, I'll put him away. And he's flipping his coin, and it's really cool. Then we get to see Batman for the first time reading the newspaper, chilling there. Alfred shows up. They talk some shit back and forth. The voice actor on Alfred is different in this first episode than who they will eventually get to. So the voice is a little odd, but it's still pretty cool, right? So Batman blasts off in the Batmobile. Great sequence. This is still my favorite Batmobile ever. I know a lot of people like 89's Batmobile. That's one of my favorites too. But this animated series Batmobile, for some reason, I just love it. I love the aesthetic. Batman goes to the crime scene. He starts looking for evidence. Meanwhile, Bullock gets a tip that he has shown up. So he starts getting the police ready to go after Batman. Meanwhile, Batman's just trying to find some stuff out, right? He goes, investigates the crime scene. He finds the tape recorder. I guess the police didn't fucking find it. I don't know. But he finds the tape recorder, hears the sound. He finds some hairs. He gets it all ready. But then the police show up. Great animation. We already know that this entire show is one of the best animated shows of superhero cartoons ever. We already know that, right? Batman's trying to get out. He finds a police officer. He's like, shh. But then you got this one asshole. You always got this one asshole who pulls out a grenade. He's like, I'll smoke him out. And he blows up the fucking floor of this building, right? And then, like, Bullock is like, oh, man. And Gordon's like, I told you something like this was going to happen, Bullock. I fucking told you. The animation's so solid. Batman, though, does save. He gets out alive and saves the police officer that was there. Then, as Bruce Wayne, he goes to this research laboratory that he helps fund, and he meets Dr. March, who is just such a fucking ornery old dude. And he's like, what are you doing here? I guess because you're rich and you give us money, I got to do what you want. Then this woman comes in, and she kind of looks like Selena Kyle. Let's be honest. She looks like the Selena Kyle in this show. This show debuted, by the way, in September of 92, a few months after Batman Returns. And that's why they did start with the Catwoman episode. But then they get introduced to Kurt Langstrom. So that's Kirk and his wife. Cannot remember her name right now. I need to remember that. But he's like, oh, don't worry. We'll take care of your problem. We'll figure out what's going on. Batman goes back to the cave. He's not so sure. There's something suspicious about this dude in particular, especially when he calls him and says, yo, it's just brown bat hair. And the sound you hear, which sounded something like... It sounded like some Godzilla shit, right? He's like, oh, it's just starlings and your common brown bat. And Batman's like, he's lying, Alfred. He's flat out lying. Why? And then someone at that laboratory is destroying the evidence. Who is it? Looks like Kirk Langstrom, who's developed a serum, a bat serum that he's been taking. Batman shows up to investigate further. He finds the serum, or the pills. It's kind of a pill here, right? And he's like, what's up? Kurt Langstrom shows up. He's like, I'll tell you what's up, motherfucker. I drugged myself, and I'm a bat. I'm a man bat. And he has this gnarly transformation scene, and Man Bat appears. Oh, my goodness. The animation on this episode is great. The expressiveness of the Man Bat in particular is great. And then his wife shows up, so he freaks out. And look at that expressiveness. The pathos, however you say that word. There's a lot of emotion there, and there's a lot of movement as well. He breaks out of the window. Batman latches onto his leg with the grappling hook, gets whisked away, and then they go on this crazy-ass flight through Gotham with some of the best animation of this entire series here in the first episode. We go back to those detectives, those police officers in the blimp. And this time, for sure, there's a bat, there's two bats, and Batman just smashes into it. We get this amazing sequence where you have the Man Bat and Batman trailing behind them, going across this blimp, and it's like changing its perspective and moving, and it's very fluid. And then Gordon showing up telling Bullock, yo, man, this is bullshit, dude. Look at all this commotion. Look at all this property damage. But they're there ready to stop what's going on. He's also like, see, I told you, it wasn't the Batman. It's a Man Bat. That's right. Then we get another great sequence where they go through this construction site, all these girders around. The camera moves and shifts its perspective. It feels very dynamic. It's supremely kinetically charged. And then basically what happens is that Batman gets up on Man-Bat, covers up his eyes, smashes him into a building, and he falls passed out. And then the police show up. Look at the animation here. Look at the beautiful backgrounds. And we know all this stuff. The backgrounds were were painted on black paper. It gives it this like really dark feel. It was breaking all kinds of rules of kids animation, and it stands out today still because of it, right? But anyway, the police are there. He's like, I ain't gonna let him stop me. He grabs Man-Bat, takes him back to the Batcave, develops a serum, an antidote, brings him back to his wife. He's healed, and he doesn't throw him in jail or anything. He shows true compassion. It's truly about justice, not just about vengeance, not just about the law. On Leather Wings. So I watched it on HBO Max, but HBO Max has them out of order. But I do have this DVD collection that I have kept all these years because I love this collection. Now I know it's available on Blu-ray, and I do want to eventually get that. But man, this is a really great set. It's got a little slip, which is cool. And if you notice on the slip, you pull it out, you got the bats in the background and the moon. Pretty dope. And you open it up this way. First of all, it's a little embossed. Look at that. Can you see that? Look at that. That's nice. You open it up. This is what you get. You get a book. The book is the episode guide. Lots of cool stuff. And they are done in production order here on the DVD set. I don't know why they are not done that way on HBO Max. But also, when you open that, look at the embossing on this top bit right there. Look at that. And then you got the DVDs in there, and they're just in two big cases. And it's all of the stuff from like the Fox stuff and WB. So the series debuted in September 92. Shortly after Batman Returns, we're in Batman Pitch Perfect fever going on right here, right? And I remember this episode. Now I remember the Catwoman episode. Then I remember, I think this one came on Monday. In my area, it came on Monday through Friday in that Fox Kids block, which was like 3 to 5. And I want to say this was the 4 o'clock show, and Animaniacs was 4:30, but I may have that backwards. It may have been Animaniacs into Batman. I don't remember. So if someone remembers, let me know in the chat. But I loved Batman the Animated Series, and rewatching it at 41 years of age, this first episode holds up immensely well. On Leather Wings is a great introduction to the world because it sets up Batman and who he is without diving into the origin, sets up the relationship with Alfred, sets up how much Gordon trusts Batman, sets up the antagonistic relationship with Bullock. The mayor is there just so that we know he's there. They set up Dent. That's all there. And the way that they handle the idea that this is not just going to be like the 66 show where Batman gets trapped, he gets out, he wraps him up, takes him to the police. There's a different approach here. It's more artistic. The animation here is some of the best. This one was done by Spectrum Animation, who I believe did 7 episodes of Batman, but some of them are some of the best, including Heart of Ice and the first part of Robin's Reckoning. So they did some really good one. POV as well. So there were a few different animation houses that did some of the episodes in here. The episode is great. This company went bankrupt. They're no longer around. All in all, though, a really fantastic start to Batman the Animated Series. And I do think that this might be one of the best episodes, is On Leather Wings. So all in all, I had a lot of fun revisiting it. The first episode of Batman the Animated Series, On Leather Wings, I would straight up give 4.69 ya digs. What do you think? What do you rate it? Let me know in the comments down below. And this has been your new edition of
Datman Batman.
I mean, I love that so much. Can we just watch that again? I've watched this so many times. I love it.
Datman Batman.
Yeah, Perry's got some cool bits coming up for this Datman Batman segment, which he did name. All right, let me take a look at the chat. I saw Francine. Thank you so much. Francine Langstrom. Thank you. God, I should have wrote that down. Instead, I wrote down, the only note I wrote down, Spectrum Animation, because I knew I would not remember that one. Great intro. Hell yeah. Hey, Jelani, what's up? Station. 69 likes. Hell yeah. I like it. Now we're at 71. Thank you all so much. Datman Batman. Perry killed it, didn't he? Perry's like, I didn't know what to do with the direction, so I sent you 5. And I'm going to use all 5 of them. I'm like, I'm going to need more of these coming. So, by the way, next week we're going to be talking about Christmas with Joker. Christmas with the Joker. First episode with the Joker. And it's a Christmas one, so that's very appropriately themed for next week's final episode of Rockin Robbie Live for 2022. You, John, and Rex on the Experience need some bronze spam cans to do the Spammy Awards. Ah, I like that. And their police guy blimp, you know it. I love how it makes you think the stepdad scientist is man-bad. It does at first, unless you know. Like, even then, I think I knew. Maybe I didn't. Batman, the animated series, is the best interpretation of Batman ever, including any of the comics, in my opinion. Of the world, of the villains, of how it all fits together. Most of my understanding and knowledge of Batman may have come from this shit. And I think that's true with a lot of us. Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. is the best Alfred. Is that the guy who, like, this guy's like Alfred for a few episodes, and then they replace him with the one that's Alfred the whole time. Is that his name? Ephraim Zimbalist Jr.? Eric says, Bullock was such a rotten character. I remember hating him so much as a child. Like, visceral hate. Manny says, hell yeah, great Batmobile. Yep, Bullock was constantly trying to overstep Gordon. Jelani says, my favorite Batmobile is the Tumbler. Steph says, I thought it was Batfleck's Batmobile. Even I would say that's not my favorite Batmobile. Mine is the animated series, then 89. I like the Tumbler, but it just doesn't have that, like, I like Batmobiles to look like a Batmobile. Not, like, I don't mind the tank. I love the Tumbler. I think it's great. And I like the new one, too. That's fine. But I actually like the Batman and Robin and Batman Forever Batmobiles better than those because they look more like Batmobiles. Like, I want to see the Batwing fins and all that shit. Like, that's just me, you know? And my third favorite Batmobile, though, is the Superpowers Batmobile. That's my number 3. That thing is made of scrap metal. But did he make it in a cave? I thought your favorite bat transport was a horse. I'll tell you what, man, when he mounts that horse in Dark Knight Returns, it's pretty BA. I'll tell you that. Yeah, Tim's art and design is so damn clean. Absolutely. I love how jovial Conroy sounded as Bruce. It's subtle, but a key to his Bruce work. I agree. 100%. Where does Mask of the Phantasm fall in the watch order? Ooh, I don't know. I want to guess it's between seasons, but I could be wrong. So Mask of the Phantasm is 93. And it came out on Christmas Day. I need an episode guide. Hold on. I have one right here. Jesus. Oh, it doesn't give me episode dates. All right, let's take a look here. It's not giving me dates. I don't know. I'll have to figure it out. If anybody knows, help me out. I'm anticipating, though, that it doesn't really matter. So you could place it probably after season 1. But I don't know. We'll do some research. We'll figure it out. We'll figure out the best placement. I think definitely season 1, but not sure about the episode placement. Yeah, maybe you could use it as the finale of season 1. Perry is hilarious. Let's do it again. I just love it so much.
Datman Batman.
Oh, man. Fable says they went back to the essence of OG Batman and still was inspired by the look and success of the Tim Burton films. Like, I know that Bruce Timm didn't like doing the... They had a nice meld of the Danny DeVito Penguin and the classic Penguin. They went more with classic Penguin when they went to WB and they changed up the style a little bit. It's the Fox era, though, that is really soars and sings. Like, the stuff at WB is good. I like that. I love the Superman show, and I loved it when they did Justice League at Cartoon Network and all that jazz. But that Fox era of Batman the Animated Series, that's untouchable. And that's why I'm really excited to be doing this. Fable says, after episode 31, or the 31st... Okay, thank you. I got to write that down. Mask of Phantasm. After episode 31. Cool. Thank you for that. Yeah, the animated series is leftover Danny Elfman music he didn't use for the movies. You're right. And then, so the opening theme is Danny Elfman, and then the music and the rest of the stuff is inspired by that, you know? It's totally that era. I love it. Jay says, my favorite Batman transport is when Superman carries him. All right, one more time. After the Cape and Cowl conspiracy? That's easier? Okay. After Cape. How'd you find that out, Fable? He's like, I just fucking Googled it, Robbie. Cape and Cowl conspiracy. Y'all will have to remember that for me because I wrote it down, but it doesn't mean I'll look at that page again. Fuck it, let's listen one more time.
Datman Batman.
I love it so much, man. Yep, Fable's got you covered. Even though the show's no longer going on right now, he's on a hiatus for Fable's Got You Covered. Blame Fable, though, still going. Even though that show's not coming on right now on a regular basis, Fable still got you covered. And when you bring it back, homie, you can have that one for free. You should call it Fable Still Got You Covered. There you go. Speaking of getting you covered, we're going to take a quick break. When we return, the PCP Movie Night reveal for January and February, the start of the 2023 season, show and tell, Final Five, and y'all know me, a little bit more, here on Rockin Robbie Live.
Hey there, everybody. Come check out The Experience this Monday, December 12th at 6 p.m. Eastern. We're going to have all your favorites, Marvel, DC, Dynamite. Rex will be here, Robbie, John. I'm sure I'm going to pop in for a minute. And if you look to my left right here, you can see Gargoyles is now on sale. So check it out at your local comic book store or get them online at Dynamite. So, yeah, come check out the show. Remember, it's The Experience this Monday, December 12th at 6 p.m. Eastern. Can't wait to see you.
Datman Batman.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Rockin Robbie Live here in the final chapter of tonight's show. We've had a great show, man. Loaded with lots of fun conversation, including our own normal bits like DC Sneak Peek. We talked about John Carpenter's Starman. We did Image in the 90s looking at the first Shadowhawk miniseries from Jim Valentino. And we just finished the Datman Batman segment, first ever, on Leather Wings. It was a resounding success. I would say that. Yeah, I'll say that. I also want to say you can follow Pop Culture Philosophers on Facebook and on Instagram. If you're on Facebook, join the PCP Army, the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. You can find podcasts and more at popculturephilosophers.com. You can follow me on Twitter at The Rockin Robbie. You can support the channel at patreon.com/PCP or with the super chat tonight. But all the support we need is a like, a share, and a subscribe. You can get $15 in Whatnot credit when you sign up for a new account at whatnot.com/invite/The Rockin Robbie. And you can save 10% at dynamicforces.com when you use code Robbie. All those links and all that other information, including links to our merch store, is in the description down below. Tomorrow night, we end our 2022 season of PCP Movie Night with Batman Returns, one of my favorite Christmas movies. We got a great panel lined up to discuss this film to wrap up 2022's PCP Movie Nights with Batman Returns is very appropriate. But before that and after the EXP show, be sure to check out Scarpad's Sci-Fi Sojourns as him, Dylan, and Steph talk about Clockwork Orange from Stanley Kubrick. And then on Dylan's Horror Show Saturday night, we're talking about Silent Night, Deadly Night 3, 4, and 5, available to watch on Shudder and or Tubi, or the new Blu-ray coming from Vestron Video on Tuesday. I got my copy in the mail. Speaking of having the copies in the mail, I did share my Amazon wish list. It is the pinned comment at the top of the live chat here. I had people reach out wanting to buy Christmas gifts or something, and so I decided to pin it here. Some people have already decided to gift me something from that wish list, including Perry, who bought some things for me and had them shipped to his house. But we love Perry so much, so once again, damn, I changed it too soon.
Datman Batman.
Love that so much. And at the end of all of it, we'll just do a supercut of all of Perry's bits because trust me, they're great. They're so great. Anyway, so thank you to everybody who's already. But all the support we need is like, share, subscribe, just be here, participate in the conversation. Also, my homie Jelani, along with Brooks, they started a new channel, Go Figure Reviews. I see Jelani chatting it out. He has hit 50 subs, so Station, congrats on that, bruh. You got to 50 way quicker than I did. It's a long road for me. They got a great channel. Jelani's doing a great job right there. Starting out, learning. Manny's doing great thumbnails. They're doing good content. Check them out. There is that link right there, set out by Eric. And Jelani, you're now a mod. I've been giving away mods tonight, just to all kinds of people. It's one of those nights where you're a mod. You're a moderator. Let's do it. I know you. You're a moderator. Speaking of PCP Movie Night, though, we're about to reveal the lineup for PCP Movie Night 2023, January and February. Let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it. Y'all ready? First of all, before we get into it, and Rogue Collecting says, great figure reviews, Jelani. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I want to know, if you're here now, do you watch PCP Movie Night? What do you like about it? What don't you like? Let's get some feedback in the meantime.
Datman Batman.
I just love that Perry dedicated so much to these bits. Trust me, that's the first one he sent me, and it's the most simple. It's the most simple. You know what I'm saying? And just leaping onto the chair, wearing the fucking Batman mask. One more time. Oh, come on.
Datman Batman.
He delivers that with gusto. And I don't see him in the chat anymore. So I hate that he missed his bit. But man, he did. Yeah, you got a blue wrench. Look under your chairs. You may have found a blue wrench. That should be a super chat, $4, and you play that spot, gold. Yeah, you're right. That should be. You're right. Next super chat, we'll play the Perry video again. Do I vape? Yes, I do vape. I shouldn't, but I do. I plan on quitting at some point. I've been thinking about it again lately, quitting. At one point, I was completely tobacco and nicotine free. Then life comes along. I mean, I was free of it for like over a year. It was a few years, actually. But just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in. Steph says, what I dislike the most about PCP Movie Night is all the actors we have to endure in the movies. I know, those fucking actors. They pretend to be something else. Don't be a quitter, says Bueller. Bueller's in the house. Bueller, I want to make sure that you've seen this. We got a new bit. We're doing Batman the Animated Series, episode by episode, week to week. And I got Perry named the segment, which is Datman Batman. So, Perry did some good stuff. So, Bueller, what do you think about this?
Datman Batman.
And I'm excited, Bueller, to hang out with you and Perry and paint the town all kinds of colors at MegaCon. You are going to be there, right, Bueller? And congrats to Bueller for Lifetime Achievement Award. Yet again, gross. But Bueller, how cool are these awards this year? Now, you got one last year. I didn't. But you and Jim Mint got some last year and other friends of ours. And they didn't do this glowing shit, right? So that's pretty fucking cool. That's pretty cool. Hell yeah. Bueller and Perry and the excitable crew. Come on, at least me. I know I'm going, and Brian's planning on going. Robbie from Earth 2 and Kevin, my buddy who's the comic book artist. So that's our plan. Yeah, the light up thing is awesome. Yeah, it is fucking great, dude. But last night I had it behind me and I left it on. And then I woke up this morning, I came in here, I was like, fuck, I left it on. because it takes batteries, and one day I'm going to be like, damn, the batteries are out of juice. And it's always like, then you go rob another remote. That's what I always, like, before I buy new batteries, and I buy them in bulk, but like right now I'm out of AAAs. That was why, like, when I opened it, I was like, oh, thank God it comes with batteries included. So the most awesome thing about getting this awesome award was that it came with batteries. And so many things nowadays that need batteries don't come with batteries. So Brian, Station, that was awesome. All right, time to reveal the January and February lineup for PCP Movie Night 2023. So tomorrow night, we're wrapping up the 2022 season with Batman Returns. And then we're off until it's the second Monday of January, which I think is the 8th or the 9th, some shit like that, right? So it starts there, and then it moves on. And the first PCP Movie Night of 2023 is a Teen Dog Shades night, and we're talking about They Live. It's going to be a great panel. It's going to be a fun conversation, a John Carpenter film that, since we're doing this chronological look through of all the Carpenter films, we're going to revisit probably shortly after this, which is going to be weird, but I'll watch it twice in 1 month. I don't give a shit. But everybody present will be having their Teen Dog Shades on so we can see through the bullshit and actually give you the best kickoff to a PCP movie night yet for a year, right? They Live. After that, Clerks. We have covered this on the channel before, but it was in the very earliest days of PCP. You can find that video, Pop Culture Philosophers Clerks movie review. That was like the second movie review we ever did. We were all really drunk. It's a super short video. It's ridiculous. It's terrible. And you should check it out. By the way, I'm planning on doing some a new bits for Rockin Robbie Live in 2023. And one of those bits is me reacting to some of my earlier videos. But we're doing it proper this time. We're doing Clerks. After that, Taxi Driver. I realized we hadn't done a Martin Scorsese film yet. And I was thinking about Martin Scorsese films. There's plenty I haven't seen yet still. I haven't seen Kingsman. Or The Irishman, my bad. The Irishman. And I haven't seen Wolf of Wall Street, actually. But I was like, let's... Out of his catalog, which I love, it's probably been the longest since I've seen Taxi Driver. I've seen New York, and Raging Bull many times since the last time I've seen Taxi Driver. So I thought that was appropriate. After that, Surf Ninjas. Y'all, Surf Ninjas. I cannot wait for this PCP movie night. This is a forgotten movie. To me, a damn classic. It's not on Blu-ray. It's not streaming anywhere. I had to buy a DVD copy of it. Just get ready. Find it however you can. We're talking about the classic starring Ernie Banks Jr. and Rob Schneider, Surf Ninjas. After that, Inside Llewyn Davis, one of my personal favorite movies of the recent last 10 years or whatnot. It's a Coen Brothers film starring Oscar Isaac. It's got a great soundtrack. It's a great movie. I cannot wait to talk about this one and introduce it to some people. After that, we're doing Flash Gordon. Man, I haven't watched this movie since I was a damn kid, but so many of my friends here in the excitable PCP crew love this movie, so I figured, what the hell, let's cover it. And the last PCP movie night of February, before we go into March Madness, will be the Jean-Claude Van Damme cult classic, Cyborg. Cyborg, which is actually kind of loosely based on some of the ideas and props that were developed for the Masters of the Universe sequel. I love this dumbass movie. I cannot wait to talk about it. So let's recap, everybody. And yes, Steph, Justin Timberlake is in Inside Llewyn Davis, and he's great. So is Adam Driver. The first PCP movie night of 2023 is They Live. The second is Clerks. The third is Taxi Driver. The fourth is Surf Ninjas. The fifth is Inside Llewyn Davis. The sixth is Flash Gordon. And the last PCP movie night before March Madness is Cyborg. And that is your PCP movie lineup for January and February 2023.
Datman Batman.
All right, now it's time for show and tell. Let's look at some of these comments. Bueller says they make these things called rechargeable batteries. Fuck you, man. You gonna condescend to me? Old man, fuck you. I'm just kidding, man. But seriously, fuck you. Like, I don't know about rechargeable batteries. Yes, maybe I should invest in some, but I never have. That's probably a mistake on my part, to be honest with you, Bueller. That's really good advice. Thank you for that. You're right. Write that down. Get rechargeable. I should have put rechargeable batteries on my Amazon wish list. By the way, my Amazon wish list is pinned at the top of this live chat because people have reached out and asked me, hey, how can I send you something? Like a movie or something for Christmas. So there's my Amazon wish list. And if I get something from you, expect something in return. Note to self, put rechargeable batteries on Amazon wish list. Double S, what's up? Steph says, most of the time these days, batteries aren't included. You're right. Jelani says, I'll need my Regent shades for that one. What's up, James? How you doing? Jelani says, Wolf of Wall Street is tight. Yeah, I need to do a revisit. I need to watch that, I should say. What I meant to say was I need, after Carpenter, do a revisit of Scorsese, you know? Like, one of my favorite directors as well. But I've missed a lot of his films lately. Road Collecting says, Surf Ninjas, yes. I got to find a way to watch it. It's been too long. The Rob Schneider classic. The DVD is cheap on Amazon. I would recommend that because it's going to be hard to find. It's one of those movies that's just like lost. Jelani's never even seen it. I can't believe you've never seen Surf Ninjas. Eric says, every Scorsese movie fills that I'll watch it whenever it's on, wherever it's at need. After that, review the movie Society. We did on Dylan's Horror Show. Love Society. Check out our conversation over at Dylan's Horror Show. People excited about Flash Gordon. Jelani's met Sam Jones. Please, Mr. Kennedy. Gross. Thank you, Bueller. Love you. Two Gun Pedro says, my favorite part of PCP Movie Night is getting to vote on a movie. The next time you'll get to vote on one, it will be in April. We always do a audience choice before we get into cruise choice. But once again, the lineup for PCP Movie Night 2023. They Live. Clerks. Taxi Driver. Surf Ninjas. What a great follow-up to Taxi Driver. Inside Llewyn Davis. Two really cerebral films. And in the midst of them, the most cerebral of them all, Surf Ninjas. No, that's not Rufio. Flash Gordon. And Cyborg. Man, what a lineup. What a lineup.
Datman Batman.
Jelani says, we need to do Bad Santa, by the way. Not a bad idea. Bobby says, next year's awards will be solar powered. Come on, Brian. You should just do all three Clerks. No, thank you. I don't like Clerks 2. I haven't seen 3 yet. I'll watch it eventually, but we're just doing Clerks 1. We can really dive into that one, okay? All right, time for show and tell. Got a handful of movies this week. Picked up The Prowler. Tom Savini makeup effects in this 1981, I think, slasher. It's not a good movie, but it's got some really gnarly kills. Scarpad sent me this one, Burial Ground. Italian horror. Mother-son fucking sex. I don't fucking know. They keep building this one up. We're covering this one on Dylan's Horror Show in January. And then, y'all, In Search of Darkness 3, backers have gotten the digital copy. It's fucking awesome. 5.5 hours of movies. For the most part, I've only heard of like 20% of the movies on In Search of Darkness 3. They have given me so many things to check out. But the first casualty, the first one that I saw and immediately had to buy to check out was Eyes of Fire. So I picked this up. It's like 1983 folk horror. Has to be a direct influence on The Witch by Robert Eggers. No lie. I loved this movie. I watched it this week. This was really cool. Eyes of Fire. So I picked that up. That's the final show and tell. Let's move that. Our good friends at Dynamite sent me this, Batman Hidden Treasures. I love this book because it was like unpublished work from like Ron Mars and Kevin Nolan and Bernie Wrightson and Lynn Wein. This is signed by Ron Mars, who I've met Ron Mars and Kevin Nolan this year. But it's also signed by Lynn Wein, who I never had the fortunate opportunity to meet. But now I have his signature. So thank you, Dynamite, for that. And check us out tomorrow on the EXP. This came in a random collection this week. Had to pick it up. This is the official Batman souvenir magazine. I remember seeing this at the grocery store and the gas station that we would go to. And I would always flip through this damn thing. I would flip through it so much. And I was just so into it. So now I have it. And I don't think I ever got to get this. Now, I did get the Batman Returns one. I remember a Batman Returns one that I had that had like these like costumes you could buy in the back and shit. But this is beat up. But we are definitely going to kayfabe the shit out of this one. Open it up. Dive in at some point in the near future. Speaking of cartoonist kayfabe, finally picked up Red Room Volume 2. I collect the issues, including the Jim Rugg covers and the Ed Piscor covers. I'm a huge fucking mark for them. But I always love to get these trades because the format's a little bit larger, so the art pops a little bit better. Not better, but it's just a different kind of format. It works. This is one of my favorite horror comics being published. Might be my favorite horror comic of the year yet again. You get a special extra tease to the next volume there, and you get the commentary that you got in the first volume from Ed Piscor, and you get one issue, the script, which is basically these layouts that Ed does. So that's really gnarly and cool. Picked up this week the lowbrow art of Robert Williams. Robert Williams was an underground comic artist, did some Zap Comics work, but so much more than that. And this starts off as a history of him, like a biography, and then it gets into his quote-unquote lowbrow art, very psychedelic, very underground 60s, 70s alternative type stuff, but some of it just beautiful. And it's divided into sections. But I really love his artwork. It has some of his hot rod stuff, his pinup girl stuff. There's a lot of nudity in here, so I gotta be careful. Some of his tattoo work. This is a really cool book. Saw it in previews. I gotta show you some of the girl stuff. Man, look at that. This is such a cool book. Or am I just missing it? What the fuck? Bear with me. There you go. Some of his quote-unquote lowbrow and oddball artwork. It's got some of his comic works that you'll see from Zap Comics. Which that complete Zap Comics went out of print before I could get a hold of it. It was like $500. I got that Love and Rockets one I'm trying to get for Christmas. As my Christmas gift to myself. We'll see if I can swing it. Anyway, really excited to dive into that more fully. And I picked this up last week because I thought it would be a good time to go ahead and start my Carl Barks Duck Library. And why not start with something very seasonally appropriate, Christmas on Bear Mountain, which includes the first appearance of Uncle Scrooge. So definitely excited to check this out. I love these Fantagraphic reprints of the Don Rosa and Carl Barks Disney stuff. I've read a lot of this stuff here and there through reprints, but starting the library, I already got volumes 1 and 2 of Don Rosa, and now I got my first Carl Barks hardcover, so that's cool. And the Savage Dragon Ultimate Collection hardcover is here. It's beautiful. It's well printed. It's got a lot of extras. This includes the 3-issue Savage Dragon miniseries, the Dragon 5-issue miniseries, and the first 8 issues of the ongoing. I've only read those first 3 issues, so I'm very excited to dive into that and experience the glory of early Savage Dragon. Hope they do more of those. And a new action figure I picked up this week. Boom, King Randor. This is going to be a very difficult vintage Motu figure to find. So the Origins one came out, so I went ahead and picked it up. So there you go. Thus ends Show and Tell. You had that magazine, hell yeah. You should come over here then, and we'll lay it out on the table. We'll put the camera over it. We'll set up the mic, and we'll do a kayfabe-esque video on it. Spoiled as fuck. Nice. Yeah, it is nice. It is nice. And that brings us to the final 5. All right, we're going through the 1995 Fleer Ultra Spider-Man set. And right now we're on the legacy bit of the set. Kingpin, great one. That's Bob Larkin. He's been actually the true hero. I've loved almost all of his works. Then we've got Schemer. Who the fuck is Schemer? I have no idea who the fuck this guy is. Devastated upon learning of his father. Oh, this is the other fucking son. So there's Rose, because the next one is he's Blood Rose at this time, which is kind of dumb, but we got Blood Rose. So that's the other brother. Okay. And these go together. So it's Kingpin and his 2 sons. That's, the legacy's about family. I'm kind of disappointed in these cards. Like, they're supposed to connect to make like this whole image, but this one really doesn't do a good job of it. Right? Like, they cut the cards different, because if you look on the back, the skyline really matches up and works. It's not going to focus. Come on. You can see it better. The skyline matches up, but that doesn't happen in reality. These are weirdly cut, so the skyline effect doesn't work. That's bullshit. It's bullshit. Then we've got the Green Goblin, and that's the Norman Osborn version. And his son, Harry. And these are going to form a triple image as well, with a third card, which is pretty ridiculous. But we'll find that out next week on the first 5. But this has been your... Where's the button? This has been your... Final 5. Hell yeah. Steph says, I want to start a Wizard Mag and Toy Wiz, right? Is it Toy Wiz? Yeah. Or is it, it's Toy Biz. You're right. You want to start one of those collections. Two Gun says, I'll send you my Wizard Mag, Steph. Bruh. Two Gun sent me a shit ton of Wizard. I have a good, solid collection that's mostly complete through like the first 75 issues or so. Which is really, really what matters. I want to get the first 100 for sure. But Two Gun Pedro sent me a lot of cool things over the years, so thank you so much. This is for Two Gun Pedro. Pedro, this is for you.
Datman Batman.
All right, that's the show. Join us next week on Rockin Robbie Live. We'll be talking about the second episode of Batman the Animated Series, Christmas with the Joker. So watch that, especially if you got HBO Max, it's there. I don't know if we'll do the next John Carpenter film. That would be Big Trouble in Little China. But Black Adam is out on HBO Max on, I think, Friday. So I'm going to watch that. I may review that instead, or I may do both. I don't know. But we're doing more Batman. We're doing some movie reviews, DC sneak peek, all that and more next week on Rockin' Robbie Live. Join us tomorrow night for PCP Movie Night. when we talk about Batman Returns, the final PCP movie night of the 2022 season. But before that, join Scarpad over at Scarpad Sci-Fi Sojourns as they talk about Clockwork Orange. And then Dylan's Horror Show on Saturday, Silent Night, Deadly Night 3, 4, and 5. And join me on Lost in Comics on Thursday night for the end of the year, best of the year, spectacular special nomination. Special. Said that wrong. I don't know what his official name is for it, but join me on Lost in Comics on Thursday night. It's going to be a good slam bang fun time. And also, PCP Movie Night 2023, They Live, Clerks, Taxi Driver, Surf Ninjas, Inside Llewyn Davis, Flash Gordon, Cyborg. Thank you all for being here. Y'all are top notch. We appreciate it. Thank you for joining us on Rockin Robbie Live. I've been Rockin Robbie Billups. Thanks for rocking with us. Keep on reading. Station, pop, pop, boom.
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have your doubts, not what I'm about, have your fucking clout, it be raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, bitch I'm legend bound, can't stop me now. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. 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 Anything negative positive, cause I just wanna hear it out your mouth, yeah. Give me fuel, it's a tool that I use to go ahead and run my fucking mouth, yeah. I take shots, I take loss, I make shots, I miss lots. That's how you get big box, you get yachts, you swing lots and pop off a big shot. I ain't done chasing, got big dreams, bigger things, impatient. Who's at the top think they need replacement? Who's at the top think I'm gonna erase that, face it. I don't give up quick, I don't give up shit, I won't give up this. Cause I know that I want it, know that I'm on it, I'll make it, I promise. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can.
So there was a Rockin Robbie Live probably like a couple months ago. It was like right at the end of Horror Fest that managed to hit 2,000 views. Now, not all, but most Rockin Robbie Lives wind up with 1,000 views or around that. And I've hit like 1.5, right? Like I've hit 16, but we had one hit 2,000 and I thought that was awesome. And then it hit 2,500. I thought that was awesome. But then another one from a few weeks after that has since crossed 3,000. So we've had some good experience lately with the algorithm here on YouTube, the mysterious YouTube algorithm. We've had some nice, good experience with it for Rockin Robbie Live episodes. So if you see a Rockin Robbie Live episode pop up on your feed, click it, let it play it, like it, do whatever. Just watch it. That's always fun. But obviously, if you're here right now, you're one of the core. But one thing I've learned is that I see these spikes when we do, so we did those super chat menus for the Cowboys games. And, we raised some money. YouTube gets a cut of super chats. They get like 30%, right? So, which leads me to believe that the better we do in super chats, the more Rockin Robbie Live gets put out there, the more they trust us. I guess as some small-ass moneymaker. I don't fucking know. So that's why I do the super chat menus. That's why I do all that. Like, obviously, we're trying to fund PCP. That's part of to keep it going. But we appreciate all the support. But that's why we're doing that. And for anybody out there that's streaming and shit, like, that is something that maybe you want to try to encourage people to do that. Because we have a very gracious and a very gracious community that is very willing to share. And I love it. I love this community so much. So, I bought this last year, and I never opened it. It is Christmas time, so we're going to open it this year so I can put it underneath my Christmas tree. This is my Spawn Classic Covers. This is one of my favorite issues of Spawn, 39. It's the Santa issue. I got it signed by Greg Capullo. He told me that nice story. So we're going to open this. I hate opening these fucking things. So I gotta like knife this shit. Which sucks because you kind of destroy the whole goddamn thing. But you remember when you used to get like, I don't know, bullshit electronics back in the early 90s? You get like some headphones. You get like a Walkman. Some shit like that. And it would be in this hard-ass plastic case that you could not get the fuck open. That's what these fuckers are. Anyway, this is a Christmas decoration. It's probably worth way more than I paid for it at this point. But fuck it. Oh, that smell. What is that smell? It smells like a swimming pool. Like chlorine swimming pool. It smells like a chlorine swimming pool. It really does. Oh man, that smells like so chemically. Maybe I should have left this in. Anyway, there's the figure. He's got a base. It's recreating the cover. Man, this smell is killing me, y'all. Have you ever had this kind of experience? I've never had an experience where a figure smelled like this. It smells like chlorine. It's got some twisty ties. I mean, this thing's been in the package for almost 30 years. Maybe 25. I don't know when it came out. Get the fuck out of there. What the fuck? Just, what the why is it so tangled all over the fucking thing? Oh my god, just get out of there. What the fuck, dudes? There's something else there? What the fuck is that? I can't, why is it so hard to get this fucker out? There's another twisty tie on a separate plastic piece. Might want to wipe it down, never know what it is. Get the, oh, the goddamn chains are up in there? What the fuck? What the fuck, Todd? Why is this packaged this way? Oh, there's another twisty tie? Oh, what the fuck? Yeah, man, it smells like a pool toy. Like the plastic of a pool toy. Oh, get the... I can't get the chain out of there, y'all. Oh, I'm so fucking pissed. I thought this would be easy. Jesus. Jesus wept. All right, there's the Spawn figure. Doesn't look like much, right? When you just see it. Why are the fucking chains the way they are? All right, anyway. Put the cape on him. So there you go. Let's get the base out. Base has got some snow and a Santa bag. Jesus. Let's place Spawn on the base. They don't look too bad. So this is what we get. Spawn on snow with the bag. However, comes with a little Santa hat, which is of course fucking twist tied in here. One could say, well, they never intended people to open these, but then why even do all this bullshit then? Santa hat. Let's put him on Spawn. All right, that's pretty badass. That's going to look good as a Christmas decoration. Pretty badass, actually, y'all. Very excited. It smells like a beach ball. I said chlorine. It is definitely more beach ball, plasticky. That's a weird smell. Yeah, I hate those twisty ties. Love the smell of Spawn toys in the morning. Smells like victory. Can't algorithm the willing. You're right, brother. Oh, Tiger Electronics. I have a couple of those. Those are fun. I have Batman Returns and Sonic 2. I want to get more. I want to get the baseball one I used to love. Anyway. Man, that wore me the fuck out, that Spawn toy. Thanks, y'all.
Datman Batman.
I just love seeing that. All right, I got a couple taste tests. So there's this giant-ass convenience store that's popular around here called Buc-ee's. I don't know if y'all know what this place is. I've never been to one, but I've driven by one, and it's like the size of fucking Super Center Walmart, right? I don't even know if there's Super Center Walmarts anymore. Anyway, it's like a giant-ass department store. Tons of shit. People lose their shit. They just built one in a town, couple towns over. And Mike went there and picked me up some things. He got me these chamoy peach rings. I love gummy candy. I love peach rings. These are like spicy peach rings. So let's try them. Oh, one thing I really like is that it's got like the little, you can reseal it. That's nice. It smells weird. They're very gooey and sticky. I kind of think that's cool. It's a delicious peach ring. Got a little kick of spice. Which is odd, but not off-putting. It's an interesting sweet and spicy kind of thing. The texture of the actual peach ring is really good. Fresh. Not like stale. Very gooey. But pretty good. Not bad. I'll give those 4 you digs. Those are pretty good. Two Gun says I'd eat those peach rings all day. Next up, he's been going on and on about their beef jerky. So he picked me up some ghost pepper beef jerky. So Buc-ee's ghost pepper beef jerky. Ooh, once again, resealable. It's nice. I think I might want to go check this place out. Smells like beef jerky. Ghost pepper beef jerky, y'all. It's beef jerky. It's going to take a minute. It's beef jerky. Got some spice. It's a thick beef jerky. Spice ramping up. It's a tough beef jerky. Oh my goodness. It's tough to chew. It's stuck all up in my teeth. It's spicy. It's spicy but tolerable. But it's still there. It's rampant. Mike told me he ate a whole bag of that and then wrecked his gut. And beef jerky gets all up in my teeth. All right. It's decent beef jerky. It's pretty good. It does have that spice. It's still there. It's lingering. It's a nice mouth sensation. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I got a big piece stuck right here, though. Jesus. There we go. It's not bad. It's pretty good. I'd give that 4 out of 5 you digs as well. The peach rings don't have a lot of kick to them, but they do have spice to it. So it doesn't take away from the sweetness, but it adds something to it. Another piece stuck. Beef jerky, the snack that stays with you. I could not eat a whole bag of that. That would be too much. Because it does have some kick. I think I'm going to take that to work tomorrow, let people try it, and see some people get hurt. But that's rather delicious. So Mike, thank you so much. I will take some of the ghost pepper beef jerky. I'll save some and take some to work. Let people try it. I'm keeping all these motherfuckers to myself. Those are pretty good. My biggest question is, do they have regular ass peach rings? Because if they do, I want to try them because those were some good peach rings. Anyway, we're really dipping out this time. Thank you all so much for being here. We love you. Pop, pop.